Welcome everyone to Zelda Speedruns 2. So today we have a Skyward Sword Randomizer weekly race, and this will be a co-op race. So today our commentators will be CJ and 64-bit Link, and our trackers will be Dir and myself. So thanks everyone, and have a good race.
Thank you for the intro there. Like was just said, this is the Skyward Sword Randomizer weekly race, and it is co-op this week, which is very exciting because we are starting off a co-op tournament in the next few weeks. Signups are currently open and closed in just under 2 weeks from today. We've got two teams for you today. We've got Your Average Link and Gymnast86 versus Raid Spinel and Pac-Man Power Ghost. 64, how are you feeling about this race today?
I'm looking forward to it. This should be rather exciting. We have two top-tier rando runners in Yal and Gymnast on one side, but also two very excellent runners on the other side as well. So it should be really exciting to see how this shakes out because while mechanical skill is going to be a huge factor in this race, communication is also going to be another huge factor. So co-op is very much about trying to make sure that you're doing something different from what your partner's doing as much as possible so that you are covering as much ground as possible as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and that really throws a wrench in a lot of the things that we take for granted in basic randomizer races, like your Skyloft 1 route, early surface plays, and all of that. 64 and I did a seed last night, and we ended up being a little bit punished for a routing decision based on standard, randomizer routing, where we ended up having to double dip a surface region because we didn't get an early projectile just because of the way we routed things. And in a normal race, almost everyone would have had to double dip that, but it's very possible in co-op to just avoid that double dip by distributing checks in a specific way. So a lot of complex thinking and routing goes into co-op, and it's just a very different mindset from a standard randomizer race.
Yeah. And then we also, another thing in these co-op settings, we have Goddess Cubes turned on. And I'm not sure we've had Goddess Cubes turned on at all in ZSR races up until now. But,
we might have had it in the original showcase match, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We might have had cubes out even by then. But with co-op, because we can do so many checks so much more quickly, it gives us the ability to turn Goddess Cubes on. So that is another factor in co-op to consider, because oftentimes you'll want one person to be able to get all the cubes and check all the chests in the sky, while the other person is going to go more in depth with surface checks.
Yeah, and there's a very interesting dynamic that comes of that because of the fact that, if one person gets, say, a tablet in one thing while someone's exploring another region, they can go explore another region, but they're going to be tasked with doing the region itself and then also collecting the cubes. So you end up having people retracing some steps to an extent. And minimizing retracing of steps is one of the key things to being successful in a co-op environment.
Yeah.
We'll definitely hopefully see some dungeon choices. There's some interesting dungeons today. Some interesting dungeons that we may see would be Skyview, for example, because there's a route diversion that you can take in hunting for the boss key with doing the bit warp in Skyview. But if you have two players entering Skyview at the same time, one person can bit warp and one person can just do the front half, and you cover the exact same ground in the same time, and you know whether or not the player who does the front half wants to bit warp at all. So
yeah, and it adds the dynamic of, you may or may not be able to get the small key in the front right away if for example, it's in the dig spot. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Fire Sanctuary is another dungeon that you kind of get to split in half with a bit warp.
Yeah, Fire Sanctuary is a very interesting co-op dungeon.
Yep, so looks like all of our runners are ready, so the race should be starting shortly.
Everyone is readied up in the race room, and the countdown has started on race time. We should see that momentarily here. Another interesting thing to note, other than the cubes being on, is that we are still on 3 dungeons. Which is a little different than we've been seeing in weeklies, which have been 2 dungeons for a little bit, as we've been experimenting with other added settings. I don't think there's any other major changes to settings besides that. So.
Yeah, because I think we've been running with like wider settings for a while. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what do you think the starting pillar is going to be?
My prediction is it's going to be an Elden start. And I think our dungeons are going to be Skyview, Sandship, Fire Sanctuary.
Yeah. I'm going to predict the Linear pillar start.
Linear is interesting for these settings, and especially in co-ops. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. I'm predicting Fledge is going to be junk. Never mind.
Well,
so I guess I was wrong about the pillar. LMF, Cistern, and Sandship, I think that's it.
Yep. LMF, Cistern, Sandship.
Alright, so immediately we see our first diversion with Yal and Jim going, one person going to Alan, one person going to the sparring hall. And Raid and Pax taking a slightly different diversion. Alright, Raid is just gonna hard rush the sky. I guess it's the Farron pillar.
Yeah. So, yeah. Meanwhile, I think Jim had some solo muscle memory and then turned around and heading right to the bazaar.
Alright, so we found a song in the sparring hall. That's interesting because one person may get to, we may get to see that. So one person may have to backtrack for that. Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on these screens for a little while at the start here. Alright, so this is our first taste of the new hint that we're running with today. I saw a wallet on Levias, and Lanayru Trial Gate is a Rupor.
Yeah. Our runners will not be going there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one of the things in co-op is that, especially early on, you can get inundated with a lot of information because you're not only just finding checks or hints yourself, but you're also getting info from your co-op partner and so you need to be able to keep track of all of that. And sometimes you may have a plan and then someone finds something and that causes your plan to completely change.
Yeah, being flexible at the beginning of co-op is extremely important. Is that another song? Claw shots are on Betrothed 30 and Elden Trial has a bottle.
Yeah. So that bottle may or may not be required. There's the Oriel quest chain and the one check in Volcano Summit that...
Was that Mitz in Cave I just saw from Jim?
I did not see.
I mean, if it's Mitch, we'll see. We totally missed Raid getting the Farron. No, Farron pillar was our starting pillar. Then.
Yeah, because we got the Ruby tablet as the first item, but there's also a starting pillar. So this is going to be really interesting because, yeah, now we're going to have, like, our runners diverge into one pillar or the other. Okay, so we know that the...
I did not see what the hint said for raid there. I assumed that was the...
One of them was a skipper's retreat cube was not useful.
Alright, so Skipper's retreat cube being useless is a nice hint. I'm surprised. Did Raid get a bottle? Or is he just... Okay, so Raid did not go to Eldin. I thought Raid was going to go to Eldin, but he's just doing the Sky Loop. So Jim is our first person to enter a surface region here. And Jim, I believe, has the mitts. So he will be able to do, like, some 20-odd checks in Eldin or something.
Oh, Jim getting caught by the chew there in an uncharacteristic movement error.
Jim's a little SS rusty, but I imagine.
Unless he did that on purpose for a back in time or something. But he also...
But he would have taken 2 hits there, I feel like.
Yeah.
Alright, so I didn't see what Raid got from Paro there, but we will get to see the Volcanic Island hint stone from your average Link here. Ruby Tablet is on Fletch's gift, and... Okay, so that's Skipper's too.
Yeah. Also, knowing what cubes go to which chests is something that's also going to be very important in co-op, because... Yeah, knowing what cubes you don't have to get, or what chests you need to check after you return to the surface is going to be pretty important.
As a 100% runner, and also router to an extent, I know a lot of the cubes, and so does 64. But...
Yeah. Interesting that Jim got that cube before Magma Turf, because it's... I generally think it's a little more efficient to get after, but he maybe just wants to make sure he doesn't want... He just doesn't want to forget it. Actually, did you see Jim check the entrance cube? Like, I feel like that's one that's somewhat easy to forget, because especially if you've done a lot of randos without cubes, like, suddenly throwing cubes into the mix, it's easy to just, like, kind of muscle memory past them.
Yeah, that's definitely part of some stuff that's going to help, or that's going to plague our runners a little bit here.
So Yal is going into Waterfall Cave to get the mitts now. So...
Yeah, I assume he's just gonna... I assume he's gonna run through the whole thing and then come back.
Yeah, I believe it was the first chest, so we'll see if he just turns around.
I don't know if it's more efficient to turn around or run to the end.
No, Yal's running all the way through.
There might have been a rupee here. Oh, crystals. Okay. I assume that Paro had crystals, judging by crystal counts here.
Yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see. Yal may go ahead and check Betro here. So, Jim getting the Goddess Cube Oin Magma Turf.
That's a bit of a community meme, because I misspelled on, and it stayed that way for a very long time because I was too lazy to fix it in the web tracker. Alright, so Raid is our first person to go to Farron here.
Yeah, getting more crystals, so I think we've found 3 crystal packs thus far.
That sounds correct.
Yeah, Jim getting the one shot on the Boko's there, which always feels really satisfying when you can pull it off and roll into this guy's cutscene trigger. Oh, but Jim not doing this in the most efficient order. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to dig that first and go climb up here, because it's going to put you back into the fight. But on the other hand, Jim finds a goddess plume, which is going to be really nice if beetle winds up being required, because you can sell them for 100 rupees.
Right. According to chat, we just saw a sealed ground Spirit of the Sword hint, so those crystals are either Spirit of the Sword or something important is going to be on Battle of the Goddess check. Yeah. Also the tumbleweed. Also, and then Pack accidentally skipping cube, it looks like.
Yeah, again, that's like something that's very easy to muscle memory past. So I think part of like this tournament in particular is going to be a lot of dealing with muscle memory stuff. I
did not see what Jim just got there from the cave.
Yeah, I was looking at Raid and Pack right then.
Alright, so we'll see if Pack goes back to that cube. Yao now entering Farron as well here.
Yeah, so Raid's going through the whole Kikwi's quest, which makes a lot of sense. Since Skyview is not a required dungeon, there's no reason to put off the slingshot check.
Well, it's a sometimes hint, which means that we could see a hint for it. But
yeah, but there's also not much else to do in the Farron region, so
right now there's not much.
There was a co-op race where like one team got seriously behind because they put off the slingshot check and it wound up being a required item. So
yeah, that happened.
And like while Raid's spending this time doing this incredibly long check, Pac-Man can make a lot of other progress.
Yeah. That's one of the beautiful things about co-op, is that these long checks don't feel as bad.
So Jim's actually opening up this shortcut, which I find interesting. Oh, he forgot the cube at the start.
So that last hint was for the Tantalus Heart Container. An ancient sea creature holds a piece of the Song of the Hero. So we may not be able to see Tantalus skip today. Well, actually, I think our reverse bit warping into the trial is probably faster than Tantalus. So actually.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like, having to, even though there's a shortcut, like, all this movement to and from that initial cube is going to cost Jim a decent amount of time.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but that's a mistake that's easy to make. Jim using a technique called stutter sprinting there, where you rhythmically tap the A button to space out your movement there. It's a little slower than sprinting up the slope, but it's actually really important to stutter sprint there because you can actually bait the Boko into throwing the rock and then turning around so that you can sprint up the rest of the way.
So Jim gonna check the hint stone in Thrill Digger.
Let's see what this says. Sand Sea is Spirit of the Sword, and Magma Turf Freefall Chest has a Gratitude Crystal Pack, which we already saw.
Yeah. Yeah, at least it's better than the region you've already full cleared is barren hint.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. That's one of those universal rando feelings, I feel like. I feel like everyone who's ever played a randomizer with barren hints has experienced that at some point in their life.
Yeah, so Raid is pushing down that log there, which is going to be important for checking Owling Crystals later. Now, Owling Crystals is also an always hint, but we might not see that hint for quite a while, so...
No, I think it's a sometimes hint. I don't think it's an always.
Okay, I stand corrected.
I can double check real quick, because now you've got me thinking maybe I'm wrong. I have the repo open from working on it on the stuff earlier.
Okay, so...
Oh, I don't have the right branch open.
Yeah, so one of the dig spots having a key piece. Jim's gonna blow up this rock here.
Baron Woods is Sots, and the LMF boss key has an empty bottle.
Yeah.
Is that Bo? Yeah, that's Bo.
Yeah, which Raid already got, so...
Him rechecking the hint.
Yeah. Interesting. So I think the thing is, like... I'm actually not sure why Yao wanted to get those mitts so soon. Because the mitts aren't going to do him any good in Farron.
Is there any reason that it could be required? Skyview and Earth Temple are both unrequired. So I guess the only potential use case is if, like, other than a dig spot having something valuable would be if, the Magma Myth spot is required. So.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Yao not shooting the Boko with the bow, and then I was like, wait, you can't shoot this Boko. It's just invincible.
Yeah, I guess Raid unfortunately missed Cube Warp, so has to run the long way around. It happens sometimes, even to the best of us.
Is one of those things that, like, people just miss sometimes, and no one has an explanation for why. There's just some subtleties about the setup that you can just miss and not realize, so...
Nice small seed satchel without the slingshot.
I think it's really funny that happens so often. Like, we see the ammo expansions so often before we see the actual item that they expand. Alright, so let's see what this Deep Woods hint zone says. Second chest is Crystal Pack. Great. Sandship is Spirit of the Sword.
That's really interesting. There's a lot of items required in order to get to Sandship, because...
Yeah, we need the sand, we need the Linear Cave small key, the claw shots, the bow... To do much, we need the bow. And the sea chart. And
possibly the whip. And we also obviously need the Amber Tablet to get into the Linear region.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're still missing that tablet. That's really interesting. I wonder if this is going to be one of those, like, sword-locked sword situations, or vanilla True Master Sword check. Any of those is a possibility that makes a late dungeon being Spirit of the Sword a lot more likely, just because swords tend to be placed in those. Let's see if Yao gets Cube Warp.
Yao with a bizarre setup, but he gets it.
Yeah, that camera angle was really quite strange. Seeing those text boxes without the coloration is really jarring. I need to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, that branch is very, very new, so... Yeah, like, there'll be time to fix that.
Yeah. We're playing on a development branch that has newly improved hints. Which has a lot of changes to the way hints are generated, distributed, and displayed, as well as adds some fun junk hints that maybe we'll get to see a copy of today.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is effectively a beta test. There's been a handful of runs and stuff done on this, and we know that everything works, for the most part. We might find a couple grammar errors here and there, but... And it's me you have to blame if there's grammar errors, chat, so I'm ready for it. You can let me have it when it happens. Yes, just like Bach.
Speaking of Slingshot, on Dig Spot 5, a gymnast just found it.
What was on Dig Spot? On the last Dig Spot?
Slingshot.
Okay. We are not necessarily less likely to see Baron hints. However, the game will not replace hints that it cannot generate with better hints on average. So the way the new hints work for people who are technically minded and curious are similar to the Ocarina of Time randomizer hint distribution setups, where you can have a fixed number of hints as well as a wait for once all the fixed hints are exhausted. However, a failure to place a fixed hint will just result in that hint slot not being consumed and able to be regenerated later. So, you know, if there's only 2 Baron regions and the game tries to place a 3rd Baron hint, it will instead not place a hint for that, and then we'll circle back to placing that slot eventually. So you end up with the full 30 hints. They're just a failure to place just generates a different hint type instead, basically.
Jim doing early Thunderhead.
Yeah, early Thunderhead is really easy to do in Elden, and is almost always worth doing in co-op. It's almost always worth doing in solos at this point. It's got to become a meta play at this point.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, it has a hint stone, and I think the other thing in co-op is there's a ton of goddess chests in the Thunderhead, especially in the Elden region. So, although we haven't unlocked Summit, which has the majority of them, but yeah, Thunderhead can be very worth. So we're starting to see Jim doing some cube cleanup.
So the last hint stone we just saw was that the Lanayru Desert is Spirit of the Sword, as well as the Skyloft Trial is junk, which means that Tentaclus Skip is officially on the table if our runners can put that information together. I'm assuming that our runners will, because no one wants to fight Tentaclus. To answer the question in chat, that's not easy to implement because of the fact that you can do stuff out of order. So, the randomizer has no way of knowing if it's a hint that you have, like, for a location you have seen.
Yeah, like, the vast majority of seeds are not quite that linear, so... Yeah, deciding to take a swim without the water dragon scale and showing off how slow that is.
That was just a movement mistake?
Probably. Or he just, like, thought he had scale but didn't.
Yeah, that happens. It's really easy to get Seed Bleed in SSR for some reason. I know that, like, Seed Bleed is a thing that people talk about in other randomizer communities as this thing that happens when you play, like, multiple seeds in a day. But, like, the SSR community has people who, like, get Seed Bleed from seeds they did 3 days ago, and it's really strange. So, very possible that that's something that's happened here. Right. Raid also doing some cube cleanup. Oh, boy. Pack, are you okay? Pack missing his jump there to hit the cube, unfortunately. One thing that's really nice about these settings is that, on average, you see more junk items just because you do more checks, which means that shop sanity is less of a pain, on average.
Yeah. Though, sometimes you can still get unlucky and just not get any of the rupee checks.
Yeah. You know, Rando is just a game of averages, really. I'm wondering what... Oh, Slingshot might very well be, like, Spirit of the Sword in order to access Beetle. Oh, no, because there's a bow in, like, Sphere Zero.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about the bow. I saw that Pack picked up the slingshot and it was just like empty, or like his B wheel was otherwise empty.
So how many gratitude crystal packs have we found? Because we also had the sealed grounds fight with that one crystal pack.
Sure.
So if we wind up with like 10 loose crystals being required, then whoever rolled this seed rolled a doozy.
It was me. I rolled the seed. Get your pitchforks and torches ready, runners.
So,
however, chat will love me if that's the case. Chat loves a bad seed. Alright, I totally missed that we found a bottle. So
y'all getting a really good deal, getting a silver rupee for 50 rupees.
that happened last night to us too, actually.
Oh yeah, true. I think it wound up not being relevant for me, but yeah.
It actually enabled me to check all 3 of Beetle's 100 rupee items here, so. I think 300 was dead, so if there's going to be something on Beetle, it's going to be on the second or third 100 item. Is that a medal? That's a treasure medal. No one likes treasure medals. They're useless in rando. For now, I cannot wait for the day that we have, like, upgrade sanity as a thing, and treasure medal becomes a meta find for races, if we ever race with that.
Yeah.
Is that a key piece? That's a key piece.
Imagine cursed metal being meta.
The cursed metal meta. I love the idea of that.
I missed what was on the third 100 slot.
It was a key piece. So,
okay.
So Beetle was like completely a waste of money, as always.
Yeah, and Raid is selling treasures only to basically for it to be useless, so
that's just feels bad.
Yeah. Ooh, Neru's Wisdom has a sword, and True Master Sword is a heart piece, so
interesting. So we're not working with. We could still be working with first sword logic, but that would require a very specific set of circumstances, and I don't think we can even, even consider at this point. Because, that would require there to be no other swords, and then all the other swords be locked by the sword on Wisdom, which is, quite frankly, just, I think, impossible.
Well, there's C chart for Jim, so
that was an Elden cube.
Yeah, that's one of the cubes. That might be the one inside Magma Turf.
No, that's I think that's the one near Magma Turf. No, that's in Magma Turf. We had this discussion last night because we had a sword there last night.
Yeah.
And in the chest Pack is opening right now, as a matter of fact. Unfortunately for Pack, it's just a golden skull. The true hero is the tumbleweed. Always has been, actually. I don't know where you guys got the idea that the true hero wasn't the tumbleweed.
So, Yal getting a couple of single crystals. He's up to 20. Ideally, he'd want to put himself up to 30 before going to Betrow again, but I guess just wanted to get as many as he could now.
Alright, quick rundown on Spirit of the Sword. It's basically Way of the Hero. And in fact, it is quite literally just Way of the Hero worded differently. It hints to an item that the randomizer logically requires to complete the seed, calculated by removing the game, that item from the game and seeing if the game is still beatable. If it is not, it is a required item, otherwise it is not. So you have situations like if both mitts are in the same sphere and magma mitts are not required, neither pair of mitts is required, because you can replace them with the other, for example. And swords are the classic example of required items that are not Spirit of the Sword, because they don't lock very many checks, so it's very difficult for them to become marked as required. Jim getting an awkward landing there, but he has mitts, so it's not a big deal. He's going to get this check, which is actually in logic because he has mitts.
Yeah, the other thing about Phi hints is that, well, with this new version of hints, is that you can get multiple Spirit of the Sword hints for the same region. Also, you'll hear me refer to them as Phi hints just because, like, we tend to abbreviate it that way because Spirit of the Sword is supposed to be a reference to Phi. And when we're trying to write down hints quickly, we'll often be like Fair and Phi.
Yeah. Wait, does Jim actually have Ballad? It's marked on his tracker. I didn't actually realize he had Ballad. I don't remember where he found it.
He tends to just mark things just so the checks appear.
Stuff, on the map tracker. Because emo tracker can be kind of weird sometimes. Feels weird, man. Also, just for the record, the old version of hints, it theoretically should have been possible to get multiple Spirit of the Sword hints for the same region.
Yeah.
I just don't think it ever actually happened, which is odd. Yal recycling his arrow that he missed. Very good. Recycle, kids. It's very important for the environment. PSA over. Yal attempting a bomb throw here and getting it first try. Very good.
Yeah. And remembering, in fact, that the cutscene was removed in Rando, so noticing that he got it first try.
Yeah.
We won't talk about what happened last night.
What was on the Thunderhead hint stone? I didn't actually watch Jim read it. Did you?
Yeah, it was... TMS was dead, and Neyruz was a sword.
Oh, right, we talked about this.
Yes.
Right.
So
I wonder where our progression is at this point. Maybe a Farron cube that was missed? Or is it going to be loose crystals? I don't know how many crystal packs we found is the big thing.
So, Yal's at 25 crystals. He's gotten 5 of them from loose crystals.
Which means he has the ability to get 10 loose. Like 5 more, so he has the ability to hit 30.
Yeah, but it looks like he is... Like, I guess we'll see what he does from here. If he decides... If there's another crystal pack here in Eldon, I forget if there was, he's probably going to go for that. If he just goes back to the sky, then he's probably going to get 5 more loose.
That says we have found 4, and I believe that collectively the teams have basically full cleared what's available. But what is Claw? Oh, Claw has opens a lot in Farron with cubes on, right? Forgot about that fact. So claw shots are really interesting in cubes seeds because they are a way to climb the Great Tree, and it's like the fastest way to climb the Great Tree. Yal taking a death rip. But because it's the easiest way to climb the Great Tree, sometimes people just forget that you can jump down from them to from the platforms around the tree to hit them. To hit the cubes.
Yeah. But that requires scale to climb the Great Tree, which...
How did you have claw shots?
Oh, yeah, if you have claw shots, but,
That's what I was talking about, because we know that the next progression item kind of has to be claw shots. I guess technically there could be another progression item on Metro 30. But...
Yeah, is that bomb close enough?
Thrill Digger? Or to the platform?
To the tower. That one is definitely going to hit. The first one he didn't quite throw close enough. Yeah, so Jim getting his bow.
But yeah, Raid also has 20 crystals.
So Jim is going to ignore the slingshot check because it was presumably junk. He's going to attempt Boko Pushing. This is actually going to be really cool.
This is going to be cool. So this is a strat called Boko Pushing, where we push Bokos around to, wow, right, accurate name, right? We push the Bokos around in order to get an angle on a Skyward strike. Normally you would do it with a shield, because it gives you the ability to shield bash their attacks. That angle looks to be a little too far to the left. That might hit. Too far to the left again, I think. Boko Pushing is not easy, but it's certainly not the hardest trick that we've seen runners do. You also only get a limited number of tries here. I believe this is his, like, that's going to be too low.
Yeah, he has one more shot, and I think he...
Is there not a third Boko here? I thought there was a third
That
Boko.
Was the third Boko that...
Oh, I thought that was the second. That's my bad. That's my bad.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot harder when you don't have a shield. But I guess Jim gave it a shot, and he didn't get in a few tries and just gave up on it.
Yeah, that's a reasonable thing.
Boko Pushing is not in logic, but like it could theoretically be important.
Well, yeah. My guess here is that Yal and Jim have figured out that the claw shot to the logical progression, which puts all of those cubes into logic. So technically, those cubes are quote unquote in logic because they have access to the claw shots. They just haven't, fully realized it yet.
Yeah. So, what is Yal doing? He's doing
a bit of some sort. Where is he saved? Is he saved in Eldin?
Yeah.
Bit warp? No, this is a bit save. He's just bit saving?
Oh, he's doing early Thunderhead and saving himself back on Skyloft.
Interesting. Was there anything valuable on? Did that work?
Yeah.
I think it might have been... I couldn't tell if it was late or not.
The timing is pretty generous, so...
I remember when I first learned that version of the trick, I struggled a lot with it. So we won't talk about that. Oh, no, Allen crystals are non-logic because we don't have bombs.
Yeah, but since Yal can sequence break it because he pushed the log earlier. The reason that bombs are required is because the crawl space that you first go through to meet Lopsa, it gets filled with a rock after you get slingshot, so that you need to bomb. So that logically you need to be able to blow that up because the randomizer can't guarantee you'll remember to push the log. So Pac-Man is committing to single crystals because we just saw him.
Raid is. I think they're both doing it. I think they've realized that they've exhausted their stuff.
So Yel's going back into Farron. Jim is back on Skyloft.
I assume we're going to see 3 runners doing loose crystals at this point. Although neither Jim nor Pac has Jim nor Yal has done the loose crystals on Lumpy Pumpkin, as far as I know, like Pumpkin Landing. Is Jim gonna do the clip?
Did he save?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Because
he's in Karane's room, which is the only reason I can think of. No, okay. He gets to sleep.
I did not see him save, so that is not a play that would. Yeah, because the thing with the Karane clip is you can clip into Zelda's room, but then you can't ever leave Zelda's room, so it's a soft lock. but you could use it to check the item in Zelda's closet. But I don't think that that's generally a good time investment.
I don't know. It's one of those things because it's in logic, quote unquote, because he has they have access to claw shots.
I mean, yeah, but I'd say like Boko Pushing is far better of a time investment than Karate Clip, because you actually get to get the cube. Like, the one case would be something like a multi-world where you're otherwise in BK mode, and then I'd say it's worth it, but
Don't bring up multi-worlds. Because you're gonna set chat off and people are gonna be like, multi-world when? We've already pushed it back to like 2030 or something.
So Yal is going to pick up Ulo, and
so Yao is entering Lumpy Pumpkin here, which means that he's settled on loose crystals as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that none of the four of these runners have decided to break into Earth Temple early.
Earth Temple's not a required dungeon.
Oh, right, duh. Seed Bleed. That's what I'll blame that on. So yeah, I guess we are stuck with not really being able to do much else than get single crystals for presumably claw shots, but it could also be Amber Tablet leading the claw shots or a quest item leading the claw shots.
Well, claw shots are just on Betroth 30. We have a hint for that.
Oh, we do have a hint. Okay. I missed the hint.
Honestly, quite surprised that neither team, like, hard pushed loose crystals as soon as they hit 20, knowing that claw shots was on 30.
Yeah, loose crystals is just such a time-consuming thing that it's... But I agree, probably in the context of a co-op, you could just have one person push loose crystals while the other person tries to make other progress. Once you start... Because the signs were there with, like, the crystal pack in the Spirit of the Sword sealed ground, so...
Yeah, that was the big thing. That was, like, kind of the giveaway for me. That was, like, something that to be considering was that info.
Yeah. Okay, I disagree with this play from Raid. He's doing the the loading zone manip to get down to Betroth at night. If it's already night, you just push the gravestone. Because it saves you having to do this. And I know he did the timings on this, but, like, he should just... Wait, what?
Huh? Did he miscount? Raid, what is... I'm very confused.
Yeah. I guess he forgot one crystal, and, Okay, so Jim is preparing to get, iDude crystals. Yeah, you only need to push the gravestone once and it opens the shed permanently. Whereas this loading zone manip, you have to redo multiple times. So if it's daytime, this loading zone manip makes perfect sense. And as Raid did the timing a long time ago to find out, like, you can do this loading zone manip like 4 times and it's faster than making it night, then pushing the gravestone, and then making it day again after you go to Betrothed. But if it's already nighttime, that is no longer valid. You just pushing the gravestone is just definitely faster.
Yeah.
At that point.
If it's already night, the cutscene of the grave is faster than just waiting. Than doing the other thing.
Yeah, because it requires
the respawn animation.
Yeah, it's the respawn animation that's the big problem. So Raid actually getting claw shots.
Remove the respawn animation just for convenience, not just to make the manip faster, but. So there's our claw shots. And the Horned Colossus Beetle. Not that that's very useful, because the Beetle discount is not going to be helpful.
Yeah, but there could be a required item on Beetle's crystals.
Yeah.
So technically someone wants to turn that in. But I also want to point out that Raid got the claw shots about 5 seconds before Jim or so. But, yeah,
he should have gotten them a heck of a lot sooner than that.
Very, very true.
The good old Unread Colossus Beetle. Or HonorNet if you're me and don't know how to spell.
Yeah, that is an old meme from Exto, back when Exto did 100%.
Yeah. We miss Exto. We're trying to get Exto to join the co-op tournament, because that'd be extra pog. But no luck so far. Yeah, it is very hard to say who is in the lead. And in Rando, it's always very hard to say who's in the lead, just because there's so much that can change at a moment's notice. If anything, Raid and Pack have a slight edge over Jim and Yao, because they both have the claw shots before Yao will get the claw shots. Though Yao's not. I've never noticed the eyes on Fi in Raid's texture pack before. They're just like black soulless voids.
Yeah. Also, Pac-Man's been having issues with his nunchuck like the entire race, which is a little unfortunate.
I never said that it was inaccurate, but this scene would have been really interesting if we had elected to go with Patrice on. Also, Amber Tablet on that, so very required Betrothed 30.
Yeah, so now the seed starts to open up a little bit. Well, actually a lot, because now we have access to caves and thus to logical access to desert proper.
Pack and Raid here being in sync. Oh god, Pack, please don't leave Skyloft. Yeah, I was gonna say, this is gonna be a disadvantage. Slightly. Because he's not gonna get the tablet. Which means that Raid is gonna have to basically solo Lanayru while Raid does while Pack does Farron cubes. Which is where I assume Pack is headed?
Yeah, but I mean, it depends on what winds up on those Farron cubes, because it's very possible that...
I mean, the question is, what's more valuable, clearing the having your clear time of the super dense Lanayru region, or doing these handful of scattered cubes that take long, probably about as long as Lanayru itself.
Yeah.
Especially considering that you're fragmenting Farron even further because you don't have bombs yet. I assume that was Yao sleeping today? I didn't actually pay attention. Yeah. Not choosing to start Spirit quest here. I don't know if that was hinted and we just missed it, or what the deal was there, but...
Yeah, well, Jim did start the Spirit Quest, so, yeah.
That seems really weird, unless their plan is that they're both heading to Lanayru, in which case it's fine. Has either of them talked to Dodo yet?
I think Jim did, but don't quote me on that.
So if Pat gets a good item in the Great Tree or in one of these cubes that he checks in a few moments here, that would be really, really good for them. Nice blue bird feather sink. Love it when that happens. Electing to Death Warp here, which is actually slower than just running. Unless he specifically wants to get back to the top. But he can just as easily use the claw shots to get back up there from the outside. So I don't know. Yeah, see, that cube is much easier to get from the lower ledge. That he would have come out had he not done that. Like, not death warped. Oh, a hint here. Important. Sandship and Desert are Sox X2.
So yeah, I guess Lanayru is really important.
Really interesting. I wonder if Sandship like has whip and boss, and then like the boss key is required, or there's like 2 swords in Sandship or something like that, which makes whip logically Spirit of the Sword. I'll have to check this log again and see if like these duplicating Sots hints are a bug or something. They didn't look like a bug from our team last night, where we had 4 Sky Spirit of the Sword hints.
Yeah, I feel like it's working as intended until we get some evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, I have to double check the code and make sure the shuffle is sufficient. It's possible that like the shuffle does like shuffles in the wrong location, and it's causing like fixed hints to bleed or something like that.
Yeah, so now Yal is getting that hint stone that Raid saw earlier. Or I think it was.
So it looks like Raid is going to caves, which Jim did not do, right? Jim did mine.
Yeah.
I didn't see what else happened in mine, so I'm assuming that nothing important happened.
Yeah. Third chest was a red rupee. I did see that. But yeah, so Raid making the logical play. And I guess Yal is going to Farron, so he's going to be doing Farron cubes.
Interesting. I don't know that I agree with this play myself, but it's certainly a valid play. And it is certainly a play that exists in their pool of options.
Yeah, so Yal is going for the cube on top of Skyview. But he can't do Cube Warp a second time because he's already gotten the cube for Cube Warp, and there's only one that has a cutscene. I think. Oh, yeah.
I think you can make that shot.
Yeah, I think there's like a little overhang in the way of the crystal that would prevent you from sniping it from there.
The alternative is splitting Lineru, which makes sense when you don't have Caves key, because one person can do mines, the other can do caves, and you can meet in the middle of desert and decide where you're going from there. But yeah, going Farron makes perfect sense. Also, raid finding Spiral Charge in the far side of desert, as I guess we can call it. I'm wondering why Yal is choosing to do this side of Sky of Farron Cubes first here.
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he's just trying to make a meta play of like, this is a cube that could be easily forgotten, but I don't think that's a play he really needs to make. Like, I think Yal and Jim, I think, have such a huge mechanical advantage that they should be leveraging as much as they possibly can. Which basically means just trying to just blow through as many checks as they possibly can, knowing that they're going to do so faster than their opponents.
These should both be teams that are being done in the actual co-op tournament, so these are chosen teams, not randomly drawn. The ability to choose your teammate is making us slightly regret, or Yal and Jim is making us slightly regret that power. But, you know, it's more fun when you choose your teammate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were some, like, I think for a lot of other teams, like, it was just people choosing people that they wanted to work with over, like, what would necessarily make the...
Make a good team, yeah.
Or I guess a strong mechanical team. So we have some teams that have like one very strong mechanical player and one like less experienced player, but they decided to that's the team that they wanted to go with. So that's...
Oh no. Back diving into there. Okay, so the first chest in LMF is the boss key, so that's going to be useful if we get to go mode it.
Yeah. And there's nothing else that Jim can do in LMF right now because he needs either Whip or Hook Beetle to progress to the second room. So Yal doing kind of the cube loop that Raid and Pac-Man basically already done. Like, I'd almost say advantage Raid and Pac right now just based on where they are. Although... yeah, okay, so Pac-Man getting that dive to that beetle chest second try. It's a rather difficult dive to get, at least in my opinion. Because you've got to get, like, under the overhang and in there, and also, like, if you're not quick enough pulling out the sailcloth, you'll take damage on the dive. Even if you land it, which happened earlier. Yell not confident on where the dive off is for Swag Cube, so has to shimmy on the ledge a little bit to find it. Okay, he doesn't get the actual strat, but he manages to climb back up onto the ledge. It is a little bit of tricky timing for the Swag Cube strat.
Yes, the game is always going to be beatable because the randomizer has what's called logic, which makes sure that items are not blocked by themselves or items that lead to them, for example. So, you could never find claw shots in a chest that requires claw shots to access.
Also, Raid, unfortunately, lands on this platform after getting the Oasis Cube, which means that now he has to get out of here. Okay, now that the Ampulus is facing the other way, he should be able to break slide to this other platform and be fine. But yeah, you want to void out in the quicksand after getting that cube, because then you land up, then you get put back onto the ledge above, and you don't have to go through that. So Pac-Man now getting the Amber Tablet. So what did we find in Laneru? I guess Spiral Charge? Yeah, and there's two... So there's theoretically two items there. So...
Someone says the Beatles on Bat 40. I'm assuming that was a hint I just didn't see. I think we've seen most of our hints, other than the Volcano Summit hints and or the ones that we're going to get, I should say. Because odds are that we will not be getting Temple of Time and Shipyard hint stones. Although Sand Sea being Spirit of the Sword means that it's likely that
yeah, it's... Okay, yeah. Sometimes getting off these Spiral Charge rocks can be a bit tricky, as Raid just demonstrated by accidentally voiding out. So, Jim and Yell are clearing cubes from different regions. Jim fighting the Cave Ski, which is huge. So, Jim has access to Sand Ship now. And we have two Sandship Sotsents, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what the other thing in Desert could have been. I'm wondering if it's going to be, like, Heedle-locked in Fire Node or something?
Possibly.
Was there anything good Spiral Charge locked?
Have
we seen Bolt Rocks yet?
I have not seen the one near... I saw Raid check one of them. I haven't seen the other one. Trying to see if there's like something on the tracker that wasn't there before, but I don't really see that. So Raid getting Cave's Key.
So there's that beetle on Bat 40. Yal getting Siege Shard there. Where was Cave's Key?
It was in I think one of the gods chests on Triple Island. Whether it was... or it might have been on the outside. It was either that or Volcanic Island. I wasn't paying full attention, but it looked like one of those two. So I'm pretty sure it was a Linearu cube.
Yeah, if it's Southwest Triple Lower or Cage, it's a Linearu cube. The other one is an Elden cube. I don't know which is which though. I know that the Cage is Skipper's Retreat cube. But and so Raid has Cave's Key, I believe.
Yeah, Raid just picked up Cave's Key, so he's gonna be the first.
He's heading for that, yeah.
Yeah, for Sandship, and I believe we also got a Sand Sea Sots hint.
Yes, we do have 2 Sandships and a Sand Sea Sots hint. So what are our other dungeons? What items are... So Whip is definitely required. That's still missing. Oh, and Hook Beetle. So both Beetles are Sots.
Yeah.
And Bellows.
And Scale, we're going to need at some point.
Yeah, okay. So Sandship is just really relatively early in logic compared to the other dungeons. So between Sandsea and Sandship, we probably find Whip, Bellows, and one of Beetle or Scale.
Yeah.
Is going to be my guess.
Yeah, now if we can find Bomb Bag, that can substitute for Hook Beetle as far as like what players can actually do. As far as logic is concerned, Hook Beetle is
you need Hook Beetle or Whip to get into LMF, so...
Yeah, but unless Whip is in LMF itself, then we're likely to have Whip for LMF. Like, yeah, it's possible for Whip to be locked by LMF, but I'm thinking that's not particularly likely at this point. So Yell at some point talked to Spirit because he is grabbing the crystal. So Pac-Man's doing mines now. Because Raid did not do this check earlier. So Pac-Man's going to be disappointed.
Continuing off the thing going on in chat. Raid and Pac definitely do not have C-Chart yet. Because neither of them have done early Thunderhead. And we don't know where Ballad is. Oh, so that's going to be a Spirit of the Sword item, actually. That is unaccounted for at the moment is Ballad. Because both runners have done, because Jim and Yao have both done early Thunderhead. So it might be Ballad in Sandsea then, in order to get the C chart so that you can enter Sandship. Oh, that's dumb. I love it. Oh, Yao. Voiding by accident.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you need to hang off the ledge in order to jump down there.
That is correct. Hanging is indeed required. The Raid making the decision to skip Skippers and the Shipyard hint, which I don't necessarily agree with, but you don't have Whip, so so Skippers is a hard sell.
Ooh, 5 more crystals on Spirit.
Vanilla crystals on Spirit, interesting.
Yeah, so Jim heading into Sandship, which Raid and Pac-Man don't yet have logical access to. And they're probably not going to go through the RBM sequence to break in yet because it's an extremely long sequence of RBMs, and so it's not worth it this early into the seed.
Yeah,
But
there's...
I mean, they could maybe like make the case for it with the 2 Sotsons, but without whip, it has a lot less value.
Yeah, there's a world where you do it. Oh, Ray taking it down. There is a world where you can justify it. I just don't think it's this world.
Yeah. I think the world in which you also had whip, it would be justifiable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then you're like heavily sequence breaking, and since they don't even have the information on where C-Chart is, like they...
I mean, you could start trying to make logical deductions about where it is, but yeah, it'd be a gamble. Big gamble. Does Yell have Dancy Key yet? I cannot. He does not have it on his tracker, like his personal tracker. It's not a matter of having no other options. It's a matter of your partner can still stay in logic while you go out of logic and try to find what the deal with the double sots is or something like that. So.
Okay, so there's only 2 other checks that Jim can do in here, and we found one of them was junk.
Yes, the teammates are in a voice call with each other.
So we have Colin's letter on Pirate Stronghold that Ray just found, so that's a check back on Skyloft.
Yeah, we kind of glossed over what, like, the rules of co-op. So I'll talk about them real quick for anyone who missed the earlier discussion and for people who still have questions about it. So this is cooperative. So everyone in this race is running on the same seed. The worlds are not connected, but they are running the same seed. The teammates are allowed to communicate and share like notes or documents or whatever through whatever means they want, but they are not allowed to watch each other's Twitch streams or stream to each other in Discord. Yeah, I think that about covers it.
That's our first sword upgrade. And that, I am thinking that sword upgrade is Sots. Like, just based...
By what... How is it going to be Sots is the question. Because we know TMS is not vanilla. And we know that there's a sword on Nehru's. But how can we have 3 swords locked by that? Is the ultimate question.
I mean, it depends on what's on Din's power, ultimately.
Technically, they could call each other for this race on whatever mechanism they want. However, for the actual tournament, they are required to be in specific voice channels in the Skyward Sword Randomizer Discord for monitoring purposes. 2 swords on Isle, but then where's the other sword, Jazz? Is the question. Because the 4th sword also has to be locked.
I mean, it could be something dumb like Fire Shield earrings on Din's power and then 2 swords in Summit.
That's true. That is the situation that we have to be on the lookout for, actually. The thing is, Jazz, is that 2 swords in Sandship does not make Sandship Sots. Mostly because you can beat the game without either of them. They both have to be locked by an item in Sandship in order for Sandship to be Sots. By an item that is not a small key. I should preface that. Bells and Pirates, I have been informed.
Okay, so we're finding lots of stuff in Pirates, and
Raid having a nice duel with the Armos here. That's not an Armos, that's a
Beamos.
Beamos, yeah, the other Os man. So the only thing we found that's valuable so far in Sandship is the sword, right?
Yeah, I don't think Jim checked the combo lock chest yet.
I think Alright, so I'm making a logical guess on this, and I think it's going to be Whip on Din's power.
That would be so just dumb.
Well, Whip is Spirit of the Sword, because we have...
I mean, I don't disagree that it's it's reasonable and resolves like all our questions, but I'm also saying that it's just really dumb as far as like, I guess maybe only because like Jim basically winds up having to double dip in that case, but. Yeah, I think Jim now told Yal to basically head to Sandship to get that sword. Or not. I mean, but I think, like, yeah, because I think they both know that that sword is required, though. Which is why Yal now went to grab the cave's key at this point.
I'm wondering what the required item in Sandsea, or in Sandsea is going to be.
Yeah. Also,
we've only seen Bellows so far.
Yeah. Also, Jim having some unfortunate trouble with that combo lock puzzle. Happens to the best of us. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it Yal luck spilling over to co-op in this particular case, because, like, it's actually not great for Jim, who has to double dip the dungeon.
I mean, the thing is that if there's no other swords, they both have to double dip the dungeon.
True. So... Okay, so Jim not gonna go to Pirates. He's just gonna head right to Thunderhead and get...
Interesting. I would have done it from Pirates at the very least, and done a reverse Sandsea sweep after checking Isle of Song. It's just a weird sequencing here, because it just leads to some weird pathing later, in my opinion. Where is Ballad is the ultimate question here, because, Sea Chart is in Thunderhead.
What do our runners have access to that they haven't checked yet?
Anything Sandsea related that is cubed. So, Triple Island Cage Cube, Waterfall Cube, the first check in Skippers.
Yeah, I think the...
Oh,
well,
Pack finally accessing Thunderhead, so I'm assuming that means he just did early Thunderhead.
Pack, it looks like marked Ballad on his tracker, so we just missed him getting Ballad.
Well, that doesn't mean he did, because Jim also has it marked on his tracker, so...
Yeah, although I'd find it... Okay, yeah, I guess,
I feel like chat would be yelling at us if Pack had indeed picked it up, but...
Very, very true.
Although chat might just yell at us for the meme anyway, so... Oh, ZSR tracker says Pack has Ballad. Okay. Can I yell at comms anyway? I've angered chat. My mission is complete. Alright, so Jim up to White Sword now. Gonna get his last check here.
No!
Huh?
So that...
Okay, I'm very confused now.
So that sword cannot possibly be
Not
Sans.
possibly be Sans. We are completely wrong in our predictions today. It's actually, like, impressive how wrong we are. So that So what? That means there's still two Sans items whip locked in. and
So where's Whip?
Can't have Ballad. What? Oh, Harp. We forgot about Harp. Harp is also an item we need to find.
So it must be a cube that we haven't found yet.
Raid is also following up the early Thunderhead play, probably because he knows that P-Chart is there now. I think Pac found it. Maybe Pac hasn't found it yet.
Yeah, although, well, okay, so I guess
Wait,
Pac
so where
has
was
not found
Ballad that... Where was Ballad that Raid wants to do Thunderhead? Early Thunderhead, rather than pick up Ballad. Not that it's a very slow RBM, but... Oh yeah, we kind of just glossed over what early Thunderhead is. So Skyward Sword is a very solid game, except for one major glitch called Back in Time, which is where we die, continue, and reset the game to end up on the title screen. And we can do a lot of things by manipulating our files there. Not the least of which is called reverse bit magic, which is we start our file and do an action in Back in Time, such that the flag that corresponds to the action we do in Back in Time gets set on our file and applies in the wrong area, so it does something completely different. Although that's not actually, that's scene flag reverse bit magic. Early Thunderhead is what's known as scene flag, or story flag reverse bit magic, where we trigger an event in Back in Time and the same event triggers on our file. So you saw Raid enter Skyview there, and the reason he did that is because the crystal switch for Skyview is the same flag on Skyloft as the trigger that causes the ballad, like the light tower cutscene to play. So by bit magicking, so forward bit magicking, which is taking a flag from your file and applying it to Back in Time, he causes that cutscene to play, and then RBMs the resulting story flag. Okay, I need to take a deep breath after that long explanation about Back in Time. Back in Time is endlessly complex, but that's the gist of it. And we call it magic because it's really just magic.
Yeah. I mean, it was Indie Kenobi back in, like, 2012 who originally discovered bit magic, and, like, it really was not well understood back then, so it was just called bit magic.
Yeah, even now, well, I should say nowadays, we have a much better understanding of Back in Time and bit magic and all of that, and, like, the specifics of what causes it to happen. Jim doing Shipyard for this hint stone. I agree with this play a lot, TBH. I love getting this hint stone when you're in Sand Sea. A lot of people don't like this hint. It's out of the way. And it very well may be a banned hint stone in Season 2, but...
In co-op, it has a little bit more value because Yal is still making progress on actually getting items while Jim is taking the time to get to this hintstone. This hintstone, by the way, is inaccessible in the vanilla game, but it technically exists on a layer that is just not accessible, so it was basically just put here in rando.
Yeah. There's also 2 hint stones that are accessible in late layers of Elden that are not in rando yet, because we haven't made it so that you can access those locations. They're in, like, the grottos that have hint stones in Elden that are only accessible with the lava platforms after Boko Base. And I think they have Boko Base hints normally.
Second Sansi and Beetle's Jump.
I love it. Good.
Yeah,
good
they could have used that an hour ago.
I think it's the first time we've ever seen a Beetle Baron hint.
Yeah, no one is doing that lava hop in rando, Jaznix.
No one is doing that lava hop, period, Jaznix. No one likes lava hop.
Unless it's Venick doing the new any percent task.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I imagine that we see someone from Pack and Raid go to Sandship here. So Jim is going to go after Letter and... Colin's Letter and the Gus Bellows, I imagine.
Okay, so Jim knows he needs to get the Gus Bellows from Pirates, so he's going to go ahead and do that now. So I imagine we're also going to see what the cube is, because Jim is going to want to know whether he needs to finish Pirates and, like, open up the Shark Head or just Death Warp after getting the Gus Bellows.
Yeah, hopefully Yao will get there before Jim reaches the end of Pirates. I'm pretty sure he will. But it's going to be a little bit tight.
Yeah.
The teams are Your Average Link and Gymnast 86 versus Raid, Spinel, and Pac-Man Power Ghost. The teams are vertical. So it's left versus right.
Yeah, have we seen the Collins Letter turn in yet?
We have not, because no one has been back to Skyloft since.
Okay, get your pause champs ready.
Although at this point, like, knowing that there's double sots in Sansea, I think it's going to be Letter and Bellows, which means it's going to be Malara or this. Well, Bellows is already sots, so... Because it's logically required for every seed. Or, well, for every LMF seed. That's a medal, I think? It's the first medal!
Wow, so Yal... Yal luckily not just running into it blindly like I probably would.
Right?
At least you would be on Skyloft to immediately drop it off. But it's still... Cursed metal prevents you from opening your pouch and thus from using any of your bottles, so
Which is relevant in this seed.
Yeah. So
Raid getting this cube, which I guess he never got. So Jim getting the Bellows here. I wonder what Jim is gonna do now. Because, like, they only have one beetle. They don't have, like, any deep access to anything.
Okay, so yeah, Jim knows he can just Death Warp because Yal told him that...
What does Malara have? Oh, he sat. Good job, Yal. You sit like... I don't have a finish to that metaphor, so I'm just gonna stop.
So he gets 40 rupees for that. Because the 20 from the check plus... Money. Yeah.
So, what's left? Letter has to... So Letter kind of has to be Sots at this point, I think. I think that's where we see Yal go next. Unless... oh, Yal is 50 crystals, so he'll be able to see what's on bat 50. Alright, Jim is sailing from here. Which I assume means he is going to that. No, the Skycube Triforce pieces are not randomized at this time.
Hook Beetle, or... Oh, no, that's the 40.
That's 40. Yal's not been back. And a fetch quest item. Very nice. Pack taking a little bit of damage from that archer that he forgot to die. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to say. Brain, you're failing me big time this year. Alright, so it does look like Jim is going to go to Skippers. I wonder if we see Jim do the P-Hat RBM? Because he can use Reverse Bit Magic to skip the whip requirement here. And since he has bells, it means he can full clear as a result.
Yeah, but he also knows that whip is one of the items he's looking for.
But he's looking for a heck of a lot more than just whip right now. And he still has an unresolved Satsin.
Okay, so he's just gonna leave.
Okay.
He's not even gonna check the one item.
He's kind of just biding time at this point.
Wait, he can't do anything here because he doesn't have a way to blow up the rock. That's why he's just leaving. Because you need
whip,
either
bomb or hook beetle. And whip doesn't even put it in logic.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
Okay.
Jim's going to Farron. Is there, like, cubes that Yal hasn't checked yet or something?
I don't think so.
Interesting place to land. I'm a little confused about this play from Jim.
Yeah, I think Jim is thinking about what he wants to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure Jim knows. There's so few options. I mean, at this point, don't we have it narrowed down to the fact that it kind of has to be on Colin's letter? Or like the letter.
That's the only thing I can think of that's open, but unless it's like some goddess chest that our runners haven't checked yet. But I feel like between both teams,
of any. What was Yao trying to do? Which stupid dive was he trying to do? I think Zelda's closet has been checked. That feels like a big oversight if no one checked it. Yeah, it looks like Jim and Yao made the same conclusion. That it has to be letter, so they're both going to turn it in sync. I guess.
Yeah. Which is always kind of unfortunate when that happens because... Okay, Yal is going to open this goddess chest.
No one has checked, apparently. I don't remember seeing Raid or Pack check this either. Has anyone... We've seen the Bazaar Cube turned it, like, checked.
Yeah, the Bazaar chest, goddess chest has been checked. Yal wants the heart medal, apparently.
I It looks like Yao was just doing an on-path chest, just to be certain. This could be Hook Beetle or Bomb Bag, is my guess. It's Whip.
Okay, it's Whip. That explains everything.
Another wrong prediction for my collection.
Okay, so that means that the sand ship double dip was not required.
Yeah, avoid
but I also now Yell and Jim are in fact ahead. And also Pac-Man is in sand ship. So neither Raid nor Pac-Man have turned in Colin's letter yet. Who picked it up? I think Raid must have.
Yeah, I think it's Raid.
Although he didn't mark it on his...
The DSR tracker has it. I wonder if he forgot to track it.
That would be really bad if, like, both of them ignored it. Reed landing at Pirates, but I'm pretty sure he already cleared it. Yeah, because the Shark Head's open. Okay, so we'll probably see Yao go to Skippers, although based on the fact that Jim had already landed at Skippers, it would have made more sense for Jim to go do Skippers while Yalda clears Sandship.
Jim has Sandship started already. He has the
True.
He has this section finished. The generator section, that's the word. Do we know where Boss Key is yet in Sandship?
No.
So it's not like this avoids Yal having to do the generator section. I just don't think there's a good, like, situation here. There's always just gonna be, like, retracing.
Yeah. But, okay, so either way, Jim will be able to tell Yal where all the important items are. Not that there's very many locations left.
It's just gonna be treasure room.
Well, and I think there's 2 small keys that are going to be between treasure room and the captain's cabin, so there's a chance that one of the SOTS items is
true, yeah.
key locked.
Yeah.
So there's actually a little bit more than I initially thought.
There's like 8 locations, plus there's Bomb Bag.
So that is logical access to Skipper, or to the rest of Skipper.
Which means that Skipper's probably has something important. Another sword. So there's 2 swords in Sandship, but that doesn't satisfy the SOTS hint. Okay, that satisfies the SOTS hint, most likely.
Yeah, so that's 1 guaranteed SOTS.
Both small keys right here. That's about right. Did Jim forget to do the other generator?
Looks like it, because, yeah, those were not,
Jim making an uncharacteristic mistake, but could just be rust. Ooh. Squish.
That may have been intentional, but I feel like that is a very slow way to death warp.
He was voiding. He wasn't death warping.
Oh, right, yeah. So
if that was intentional, I don't know why he didn't void, like, on the first cycle. I guess he might have missed it. So we should be expecting a progression item. Did Yal get the cube here? I didn't pay attention to him getting the cube.
The cube was hinted dead.
Oh, right. We knew that. That's a good point. I forgot about that. Thank you for the reminder. A gold rupee, worthless.
I wish they'd stop spoiling the winner of the race by telling us which player is Jim this 86.
Jim also forgetting to change the time for Sandship Boss Key.
Yeah.
Room.
I mean, you say that, but yeah, I mean, Jim is making some errors with this Sandship clear, so, there's definitely time that Raid and Pac-Man can make up. It's just that, yeah, I think Raid's finally going to turn in Colin's letter, but he's had it for like 20 minutes, so that's a little bit
late on that. This should be a progression item from... No, actually, it doesn't have to be, because we've already resolved both, yeah. We've already resolved both Satins in Sansi. It was Letter and Bellows. Both of which were in Pirates. Jim should have bombs.
Yeah, Jim has bombs because they were in treasure room. He just didn't mark them on his... Well, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. Jim also has whip. His tracker is... There we go. Okay, I fixed his tracker.
Oh, right. Yal going into LMF because he can get past the... He can clear the dungeon. Well, no, not necessarily. He doesn't have bombs. Well, no, we know where the boss key is, though, and we know that the one, like, strict... Well, we know one of the bomb lock checks is dead, I think, because I think there was a hint for the boss key chest in LMF. Or maybe I'm completely making that up. Yeah, so Raid should have whip now. So Yell can beat LMF now, but he does... So he's going to have one section of the dungeon locked off to him, because he doesn't have either a Hook Beetle or a Bomb Bag. So he's going to have to go to West Wing here. Jim doing Scarvo. Jim taking a hit there. Reed is entering Sandship. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Scarecrow chest was junk. Yeah, doing doing Scarvo without a shield actually can be rather difficult. Yeah, and I don't think any of these runners have bought a shield. Okay, so Jim now has to go to the brig because that robot has the boss key because we've exhausted
really
every other check. Yeah, like that. It's really unfortunate for Jim that his mistake ultimately cost him a lot. But
interestingly enough, we didn't see either team set up Tantalus skip here.
True. If they have a bit magic file, they should be able to just use that, though. Like, if they didn't ever set up a bit magic file, then I guess we'll be seeing a Tantalus fight. Although, right, we do need a file with the BX08, or no, we don't because everyone has 30 crystals, so they can just get the Betrayer rewards to activate the Cursed Metal Chest. So Tentaclus Skip is an RBM using Betrayer's text before you get the Cursed Metal. It basically activates the crystal cutscene, so that as soon as you enter the deck where the Tentaclus fight takes place, it activates the crystal cutscene. Or the cutscene of you striking the crest at the end of the dungeon, allowing you to skip the Tentaclus fight, which is very, very slow and an auto-scroller, and nobody likes it.
No, the skip does not give you the heart container. In fact, it completely locks you out of the heart container. However, we know that the heart container is useless because it has a piece of Song of the Hero and that trial is dead.
Yeah, and even if that trial wasn't dead, you can reverse bit warp into that trial, which is a rando exclusive because the trial gate was moved to layer 0. For the
layers, we love layers.
Yeah. We like layers when we can actually manipulate them, like when we're developing a randomizer. We hate layers in the vanilla game when they ruin what would otherwise be a cool trick that would save like 10 minutes in any percent.
Yeah, we were so close to saving a ton of time in any percent for people who are interested in that. Unfortunately, no dice.
Yeah.
Too much time loss associated with dealing with the problems. Yes, it should save some time in all dungeons in Hundo, though. Onions! It's true. Skyward Sword is like an onion. It has lots of layers, and we hate all of them. I refuse to acknowledge that it exists. Now that's So what do you think? Do you think that all the times you've seen it done, that it's just a big conspiracy theory? Jim is doing something. Brig, I assume. No, he did not get Brig because he forgot to do the second generator in his first trip. Or messed it up or something?
I saw him get that boss key before, so I don't know if something happened and he just lost it, or...
Oh, I didn't see that.
His stream looks synced up to me, so I'm not sure what happened there. If he accidentally did bit, that's really unfortunate.
He accidentally did bit off the death warp? Oh, no.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, so you activate back in time by hitting reset right after you hit continue on the game over screen. And the thing with that is it is resetting the game. You lose all progress since your last save. So whenever you intentionally activate bit, you save first. If you kind of blindly muscle memory sometimes and you just meant to death warp and you activate bit instead, you lose all the progress since your last save. Which,
for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Has cost some people their hundo runs before. Not naming names or anything.
Yes, including yours truly. Losing well over a half hour of progress one time.
Yeah. In longer categories, especially hundo, bit becomes less and less valuable the later you go into a run. So we actually go a very long time without saving in 100% speedruns. And we also tend to go a very long time without saving in rando as well, for different reasons, because we don't do bit as often, but...
Yeah, so luckily Jim had a save that was relatively close, and looks like Jim is not going for Tantalus skip, because, yeah, he did not... Unless he just forgot to save before doing Tantalus skip, in which case he must have saved within Sandship. I guess we'll see when he enters the deck. So Yell doing Moldarok also without a shield, which isn't too bad if you get the strat properly. Unfortunately, Yell not getting all the stab inputs he wants, but still advancing the second phase. Looks like a good angle, so he's going to be able to push Moldarok continuously into the wall as he stabs him, so Moldarok cannot burrow into the sand, which basically skips that entire phase, where normally he burrows under the sand and you have to dig him out with the Gust Bellows, and it's really painful and annoying.
Wondering what's going to be on the Temple of Time hint stone at this point. Are we missing any always hints? Levias.
I thought we did get a Levias hint.
We did, because we talked about the whale hint. That's right.
Yeah.
Trials, maybe? Have we seen all the trial hints? I guess I could scroll through the notes. I see Skyloft Trials, Junk, Elden Trial Bottle, Lineru Trial Rupor, so I don't think we've seen the Farron Trial Gate. Personally, I love the gameplay of this game, like, the controls and stuff of this game, but I can totally understand people who are not into the whole, like, looping back as much as it does in the regions. It's a fair point, fair criticism of the game. Did Jim miscount the tentacles there? I guess so. Or then he missed a shot that he thought he hit.
Also, another thing that I didn't really mention is, like, I saw Yell having one arrow at the start of LMF, and I'm like, I knew this was gonna happen, and he had to use the beetle for the time shift stone at the end of LMF. Your arrows are extremely valuable in Randomizer, and so
yeah,
it's
one thing that the randomizer does not change that is really unfortunate is ammo drops, because the game actually, like, for ammo and stuff, as a general rule, is like hard coded what can drop where, and as a result, there are not a lot of drops that for arrows, just because the bow is so late game.
Yeah.
Bombs have a similar problem, especially in Skyview. Oh, I didn't get to see the junk hint. First junk hint. They say there's a settings combination which needs 0 checks to be completed. It's true. Start with the Goddess Sword. I don't know how you start with an open Gate of Time, I guess. So yeah, that was our first junk hint, the black text. It's a little hard to read, so I may have to adjust that. But they're hints that are memes or random hints and advice. So... I didn't see anything good in LMF. I didn't, like, pay attention to Yal's LMF, like, at all, not gonna lie. I was looking at the other 3 screens the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think Yal got anything good in LMF. Magma Bits on...
Question mark?
I mean, we do not have Fire Shield earrings, so I don't believe they are useful.
Yet, TM. Because there's still an unresolved desert Sots, I think. And we don't know if Bombay currently does not resolve the second Sandship Sots either. Because there was nothing in Skipper's, and there's nothing in the Armos chest.
So, there's bomb lock checks in Lanayru, and there's bomb lock checks in Farron. Plus, there's one goddess chest in the sky that's bomb locked.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen a required item bomb locked yet, so it does not currently resolve Sots.
Yeah, but we'll probably
I guess we
find
have
that.
the nodes now that we have bombs.
Yeah. So Jim is going to save so that he can save scum this check in mines. Although, interestingly enough, he's trying to blow up that rock beforehand, which if he's going to reset isn't going to help him that
I mean, it's not like he's wasting time. It was an auto-scroller.
True.
Also, Jazznick's in chat making an extremely important point. Magma Mitts don't actually only open one check in these settings anymore, outside of Fire Sanctuary. They open two. There's a goddess chest that requires Magma Mitts in the Thunderhead.
Yeah, but I think that the cube is in Volcano Summit, so it also requires Fire Shield Earrings.
Is that the outside Fire Sanctuary cube? That might be the outside Fire Sanctuary cube.
I actually think it is the cube that is at the very start of Volcano Summit, like the one that you normally would get in Boko Base.
It is the inside Volcano Summit cube. You are correct.
I remember things. But, yeah,
so... I guess the one near Fire Sanctuary then is the, Top of Isla Sog.
That sounds right.
I just closed the tracker. I could have just looked.
Raid also having issues with Scarvo. Yeah.
Top of Isla. Yes, near Fire Sanctuary. So yeah, for people who are looking to get into Skyward Sword Randomizer and are daunted by like some of the checks, there are all kinds of settings you can tweak to make it easier to find your items, or you can use our nifty web tracker that has a lot of explanation about where items are and what items are required to reach them, as well as the information on the links between cubes and goddess chests.
So, Jim is picking up the party wheel, which we finally have access to with Bomb Bag. Technically, I think it is possible to use a shell trick to get up, but I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone pull that off.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anyone do it. And yes, the web tracker is logic aware, just like Woofers. In fact, the entire logic subsystem of the web tracker may or may not be lifted entirely from the Wind Waker tracker.
So, Pac-Man getting the boss key in Sandship. Yal. Was there anything good on the Heart Piece chest?
I don't remember seeing it, actually. So, I don't know.
I definitely know that Jim checked it, and I'm pretty sure it was junk, so I'm surprised that Yal is doing the masked segment.
Yal does not have bombs. He can't do Deathmask Skip.
Oh, true. Okay, so yeah, this makes sense then. I forgot. Like, it's not often
Yeah,
you're
no,
this far
it-
into a seed with no bombs.
Yeah. We've had a lot of late bombs in seeds recently. Like, disproportionately large compared to previous samples, where they're usually pretty early. Like, we had the like, I think it was the weekly 2 weeks ago, where the bombs were in Fire Sanctuary, just somewhere in the middle of Fire Sanctuary. After our runners were in go mode, nonetheless. Hey, it's the legendary Hook Beetle Fire Node.
Did Jim push down
Did
the
he push
thing?
the block? I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't think so
he did.
because he pulled out the slingshot.
That's a feels bad. So the back half of this section requires Hook Beetle, of this node requires Hook Beetle, and there's as a result, if you get Hook Beetle in it, you have to like reset it like this, potentially, unless you push the block. And most people don't push the block because it's pretty rare that you actually get Hook Beetle in here. But we've actually had someone get double progressive beetles on these checks. And then, have to, like, redo this section. I'm slightly missing that slingshot snipe.
Now, the thing is, like, do we think that there's actually going to be, well, I guess now with Hook Beetle, everything else in LMF that Yao was unable to check is available.
Oh, was there really that much stuff that he wouldn't have been able to check?
The entire East Wing.
Was he not able to get the small key?
Well, he got the small key, but then to get past that room, you need either bombs or Hook Beetle to
right, to blow up the boxes. That's right. I forgot about that. See, we take for granted the fact that bombs or Hook Beetle usually show up early, and then, you know, stuff like this happens, and it really throws, like, at least me personally, off my game when stuff like this happens, because it's really hard to follow logic when stuff like this happens. This seed is very strange.
Yeah. This seed existed just to prove me wrong about top runners should be able to do these seeds sub 2. Because we're already at the 2-hour marks.
I think consistently saying you can consistently sub 2 it is a little bit of a stretch, but sub 2s are easily possible for some seeds.
Yeah.
Even for non-top runners.
This is just not one of those seeds. Yeah, interesting that no runners thus far have gone for Tantalus Skip. Yeah, I mean, cubes gives the randomizer a lot more places it can place items, and it's kind of interesting because as far as placement goes, it's like the randomizer places them as though they're like where the cube is, and their scale.
That's our second desert. So that makes bomb sots, and then that resolves another desert sots in.
Is that go mode?
Do we have Master Sword? Jim does have Master Sword.
Yeah, he just didn't track
let me
it.
double check his tracker. Master Sword, Harp, Scale.
Yeah, that's go mode for Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jim started out trying to go for... Oh, that's so unfortunate! Jim was trying to whip the switch, but the game just auto-targeted the heart that was in front of him. So, yeah. That wound up being super unfortunate. And yeah, Jim probably skipped a cube because Yal already checked to the corresponding chest. And it was not useful.
So Bosky was left side in LMF, right?
Boss key was in the very first chest. So Jim has
Oh yeah, Jim already has the boss key.
So in fact, I'm surprised that Jim's going this way. Yeah, I think Jim just remembered. He's gonna bit warp. Which is going to be faster than doing West Wing by a little bit. So it's kind of funny with this. So he's going to save at the statue. He's going to do a bit warp that's going to move him like 2 feet to the left, but it puts him over a wall, thus allowing him to access the second half of the dungeon.
Yeah. This is a very convenient little bit warp.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that the fact that it's so useful despite the fact that it, like, in terms of distance, doesn't push you very far. Also, another thing that happened, Jim was trying to slash the bomb to die into the void, but he wound up auto-targeting onto the Chew, and that threw it off, so he wound up not being able to die into the void. And the reason that's an issue is because, I guess it's not really an issue, but it loses a bit of time because...
It loses, like, on the magnitude of seconds. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but there are situations where, like, it's... like in Elden, where it's faster to run a fair distance to jump into the lava as opposed to just bombing yourself and dying into the ground, because the animation of Link, like, struggling to get up and then falling back down again is yeah. Jim not going for the Yal slide when he's teamed up with Yal.
SMH.
We will have to bring up that one in the interview.
I didn't really know what to ask in this interview. Like, you know, this scene was just a mess. Like, they didn't really play. Like, there wasn't any really bizarre plays. For once.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like what happened in Sandship with Jim, although we're pretty certain he just accidentally did bit when he was trying to death warp.
Alright, so, 2 questions in chat. Co-op. The 2 runners that are vertical from each other, so your average Link and Gymnast86 and Raid Spinel and Pac-Man Power Ghost, are in a team. They are in a voice chat, presumably, communicating with each other about the seed. Everyone who's in the race is running on the same world, so basically it's just work together to make it as fast as possible.
So
yes, both runners have to beat Demise. And the other question is, what is required for Go mode? It will depend on the seed, but the rules are you need to beat your 3 required dungeons, have the harps that you can raise the Gate of Time, and then the Master Sword, not the true Master Sword. There is a difference between those two, and the difference is 1 progressive sword upgrade, and that is to open the Gate of Time, and then you must beat Horde, Girahim 3, and Demise.
So Yell is actually going to be the only runner in this race who is going to do the Tentala skip. So he bonked a tree to load in the flag for Betrot's door being open. And he forgot that he doesn't have the shed flag, so he's going to have to do the Betrot manip to get there. Jim finish up with Moldarok. Yell is... So Yell's going to spawn in the curse... Well, okay, so he's going to talk to Betrot because he needs to get up to the 30 reward. And then the curse spell chest is going to spawn in, and he's going to do an RBM with the text that Betrot has telling you not to open it.
Final boss. Also, for anyone who is in the community, we are not playing on the version of the randomizer that allows you to fight multiple demises at once, much to our dismay.
Yeah.
It would be quite funny to have thrown that option at them without them knowing.
You see, if this race were yesterday, that would have been absolutely hilarious to do. But sadly, it's April 2nd, so we don't have that luxury.
It's all the more unexpected.
You raise a valid point. Also, Jim showing off that with the bow and actually having arrows, you can, in fact, snipe that time shift stone and avoid having to fly the beetle. Wow, Jim just now getting Bat 50, or getting 50 crystals, but we know that Bat 50 was not useful. Also, Pac-Man, I think, forgot to get one of the checks and skippers, and he has to go backwards, which is kind of painful.
So even though we did the Tentala skip, it doesn't actually skip the escape sequence of note.
Yeah, it just sets the flag of the crest being hit at the end here. So he's, as soon as he spawns into the fight, he's gonna get the item. It skips. It makes it impossible to get the heart container, but he already knows from hints that the heart container is dead.
Jim's gonna do Blindfolded Demise. Blindfolded Demise, I've never done it, but it's actually supposed to be not as hard as it seems because Demise is a very scripted fight for us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily think he could do it without audio, but
I don't think you could really do it without audio because you do need some cues as far as like when Demise is charging at you to be able to time your attacks properly. But Blindfolded Demise has a bit of a history with Skyward Sword Rando Co-op where there was a race a while ago where the race was decided because the second player on one of the teams decided he wanted to do Blindfolded Demise and failed it, and then the other team sniped them by 15 seconds. So,
was that a sword on bow to the goddess? Again?
Maybe I wasn't. Then probably, yeah.
So, there's fire. Why is Jim checking this? Are we missing an item that we're not thinking of? Because that's Fire Shield. Earrings. I don't know why he wouldn't just go directly to Cistern here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing is if, like, he believes he's ahead and is just checking items in case they're, like, TMS or something.
Yeah, I guess maybe he's looking for a faster sword for Yao. Although at this point, I don't know if there is any faster sword.
Yeah. Because now one thing is, since nobody has done yet, like, technically these runners can feel somewhat secure, and like whatever player is ahead can do some extra checks along the way in case they're helpful for the player who is on the team who is currently behind, because only the second place time matters.
Yeah, so even if someone else has not done, it doesn't matter if you're ahead of your teammate. It matters that, it matters for who, the second place finishes, yeah.
But why is Raid going this way?
Raid's not in go mode. No, that's a good question. I was looking at pack screen, not Raids. They're not in go mode, so they're looking for something, I assume. Maybe he just was struggling with minecart jump.
I think he just wanted to get back to the front of the dungeon to do the key locked portion because he just got the key and then kind of gave up on that. I guess, like, yeah, just that auto scroller section is really slow.
And you could skip it just by going around with minecart jump, so.
Well, there's the one gate that would be in your way. So you'd have to do the RBM to raise it, which cuts out.
I always swear someone has told me before that you can get the minecart to come through the gate, but I've never done it.
Okay, so Jim has the Blessed Idol and 666 rupees Monka S.
Nice. Great, excellent.
So, in this situation, I personally would probably just pull the lever to bring the statue down, but I guess Jim thinks it's faster to do Cistern Clip.
But he's just gonna swim to the... Did he save before this?
No, not that I know of. Ooh, this could be really bad.
Yep.
That's a soft
really
lock.
bad. That's a soft lock.
When is the last time that Jim saved?
I don't know. That's really bad for Jim. He's on Skyloft? He has...
Oh, he's in LMF, or that's where he's last saved. So he's gonna have to redo the bit warp in LMF. So it's not that
rebeat LMF.
It's not the worst thing, all things considered. Like,
it could
I
have
don't
been during
think this.
Tentulus skip.
Yeah, the fact that he had to do the bit warp saved him. That.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to ultimately have any impact on like the result, at least as far as on restream, because Raid and Pac-Man are still pretty far behind, but it's something you don't really want to see happen. I'd say it's probably somewhere between a 5 and 10 minute time loss.
Yeah, probably. It's probably about 7 minutes if I had to guess. Because you have to redo the slow minecart auto-scroller. Next thing we know, Yao's gonna dump Jim because of this, just like he dumped Battle Cat's Kappa.
Yeah.
Always save before system clip.
Yeah, I think this is just Jim's been playing this game for so long that he just has a lot of confidence that he's going to be able to execute things properly. And on that 1% chance that he fails to execute properly, it winds up hurting him.
And a lot of this is rust as well. Like, Jim's definitely rusty on some of this more rando-specific stuff.
Yeah. I think, yeah, he just barely missed getting on the statue's foot, which, yeah, just wound up being unfortunate. So Yao is fighting Galactos. He's now... So now he is significantly ahead of Jim after that mistake. So Pac-Man's in LMF. Did Pac-Man get scale? I don't see scale marked on his tracker.
I don't see on his tracker or the ZSR tracker, right?
Yeah, so then this is kind of weird. Why would he skip Lightning Node? Or was it in Fire Node? I forget which node it was.
Lightning, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely Lightning. And we have an
off-restream finish. Note that this does not mean that Jim and Yao have collectively lost yet. Just another reminder of that. Although if this was a solo seed and K-Cop pulled this stuff, that'd be incredible. Because he would have beat Jim regardless. Jim and Yao regardless of the error. I will keep an eye to see if he's going to join us for an interview.
Well, he won't until until Harm finishes.
Well, true, yeah, he can't leave his VC. That's a good point. So used to thinking about solos, to just go yoink him into the thing.
And yeah, so this is based on last to finish, and so KitKat's off-restream co-op partner is Harm. So when Harm finishes, then it will be... Yeah, then their team will have finished. And yeah, so the front runner on the team can spend some time to hunt TMS if they're ahead. Ideally, you like the teams want to distribute their work such that they don't get super far ahead of each other, although sometimes it does happen. But in an ideal scenario, they should finish within about 5 minutes of each other. So if one of them gets wildly ahead, then then you can wind up in a situation where, yeah, the other player...
Yeah, I'll get TMS here.
So he's going to communicate that to Jim, so... not that I guess that really matters, because
Jim has to get TMS here. Like, he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And it's
But
free.
it's still, I guess, good information for Jim to know.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about fairies or anything. Oh, I was like, Jim, I thought Jim had already beaten that, but yeah. Also, like, regarding more stringent tournament rules, because, you know, this is sort of a showcase for the tournament itself. The partner is allowed to, like, continue hunting for other items if they so choose before they finish. However, once they approach the end game, like, they are not allowed to, like, back out and go, nor are they allowed to delay their finish time by doing something like camping on the home menu before landing the final blow on Demise. So you're not allowed to conceal a finish time.
Yeah, which, I mean, really is... Concealing your finish time isn't really good strategy, because, like, because, like, really, when you get that one finish in there, like, it has a psychological impact on your opponents. Because all they know is one person on the team finish, and they're gonna now start to worry about seeing that other dot dawn.
Yeah, because the other opponent is your opponent's partner could be literally anywhere. And in most cases, they're going to be not super far behind. In theory, at least.
Yeah. I find it... Okay, I guess it makes sense that Pac-Man's going for this, because Raid has not checked the small key-locked portion of the dungeon yet. But it's really unfortunate that they're spending this much time on it, because Pac-Man didn't check Lightning Node. And that's
I think they still have an unresolved Satan in Desert too, which it means that they're making just a misplay. It's not like, you know, oh, they just made a wrong decision. I think that they are just genuinely making a logical miscalculation.
So Jim is confident in his ability to execute on this cistern clip. He saved when he
entered cistern. He saved when he entered.
Okay, then, yeah.
Jim making it into the water. So the reason that you softlock here is that the game is a little weird when it comes to, respawning you out of water, especially out of bounds. If you void while in water, you kind of just, fall forever. Because the game doesn't know how to respawn you correctly for whatever reason.
Yeah, he saved at the start of the dungeon, which I didn't see either, but, yeah. Jim accidentally activating Janin. everyone's favorite stallmaster. Named by CJ.
Yeah. There's a fun story behind that name. It was a race in a Yerbal percent tournament of the vanilla game where I miscalculated a time zone, ended up doing a hundo run that day and then doing the race after the hundo run because I had messed up the time zone. Messed up in like the first 10 minutes of the race, forfeited, and then joined Exodasher on comms, and just was so mentally exhausted that we just memed for like an hour, and many memes were born that day, and Exo misheard me say the word jammin' as Janin, and thus the Stall Lord was named.
Yep, well, Yal is in the demise fight. Jim picking up some extra hearts before the Galactos fight, which actually I think might be faster than sitting on the stool. So I think that's actually something that's actually a really good strat. If you have heart metal, it's a really interesting strat. Is Yell going for it blindfolded? He was hesitating a bit with his sword slashes. A little uncharacteristic. But, I mean, he has the time, so he might as well. And Yell has finished in second place, or I guess second place as far as not teams, but we still have to wait for Jim's finish.
The condition of Yao and Jim is blindfolded demise.
Yeah, well, let's see, the thing is, Yao was the one who got on the co-op team where his partner lost because of blindfolded demise, so I don't know how much he really wants to index on the blindfolded demise.
Yeah, that'd be really funny, you know?
Yeah. If he's like, if his resolution to that is, I will win with blindfolded demise.
Also, a good old verification text box. Although it's the wrong verification text box, SMHL. So we added this hash verification for the Speed Gaming Live tournament, which had a cash prize, so we were super specific about that. And we actually added it in 2 places, just in case people accidentally cutscene skipped or clicked past the actual one.
Oh, so picking up those hearts didn't even wind up mattering because the item on defeating Ancient Cistern was a heart piece anyways, and it refilled Jim's health.
Alright, so Pac finally doing Lightning Node, which is that Pac will be entering Go mode as soon as he gets that, I believe. And all in all, not super far behind. Wait, does Raid have scale? Raid has scale. I never saw Raid get scale.
Okay, so I'm confused then as to why they weren't in Go mode at that point.
Raid is in Go mode now, but... I'm not sure what the deal there is.
Yeah, we'll have to ask them about that in the interview.
Yeah. Alright, so Pack should now also be in go mode. Yep, Pack is in go mode indeed.
Yeah, it's interesting that worked out to Ancient Cistern last, because that's really the most efficient dungeon to do last in Rando, because you can just run from there to Seal Temple.
Alrighty. So yeah, all in all, Raid is not super far behind Jim. He's like a Cistern Cliff and a Galactos fight away from Jim.
Yeah,
Yeah, we still have no finished team. He died. I guess he has to die because he can't.
Yeah, he wouldn't survive the Cistern Clip, but I'm still not sure that Cistern Clip is actually faster than just pulling the lever.
Jim is about 5 to 6 minutes from finishing, not 3. Unfortunately, Horde, G3, and Randomizer are a bit long. Like, there's not much you can do to speed them up. Assuming Jim gets Horde skip, yeah, come on, Harm! Snipe it out from under Jim! G3 is a really cool fight, but it's unfortunately slow. Jim with a stupidly clean first barrier. Holy heck.
I mean, that is the result of Jim having ran Skyward Sword for, like, 8 years.
Yeah, like nearly a decade. Jim is an OG Skyward Sword runner. Oh no!
And
Jim
I
doesn't get
commentator.
skip. Yeah.
He's gonna try for the redo. So if he can get some of these Bokos out of the way, he can try a second time.
Nah, he didn't. He tried. I guess technically he can keep retrying. Ooh, he got it on a retry. Okay,
yeah.
Jim.
Third try.
Now he's just showing off.
Ooh, getting that spin and having trouble getting vertical spins. That was awkward. Although it might just be like a lot of times in that Stalfos phase, you want to do horizontal spins because you want to clear out the Bokos, but sometimes the Stalfos just always give you a vertical opening. So he might have just been every time just like hoping for a horizontal and just getting the vertical every time. Jim picking up some hearts before G3. Not that he should need them, but especially with TMS. Because there is a really fast TMS strat for Phase 2.
There are strats for one cycling the second phase of G2 for both Master Sword and TMS, but the Master Sword strat traditionally requires shield, although we have recently found a new strat that does not require it. Although I don't actually know how it works.
Yeah, it involves you basically want to do a skyward stab onto Girahim as he's attacking you. Like at a specific part during that animation, it will break his sword and stun him, and then you can chain stabs. But instead what we're going to see Jim do, because he has TMS, is he's going to be able to charge a Skyward Strike after he knocks the sword out of Girinium's hand and Skyward stab him in that window, which is really tight, actually. Like, you don't have a lot of time to get that Skyward strike. You wretched brat!
And, he yells at us and makes us mad, or is mad at us. So Pack and Raid are gonna have a super close finish time, which good for them. Well co-op routed, even though the routing was a little dicey, but
yeah,
overall, but no big deal.
I think a lot of the reason they're finishing so close together is because they spent so long until they. It was either until they got the skill or until they realized that skill was their go mode. We're gonna have to ask about that in the interview. And Jib finishes with a time of
2:40.22.
Yep. So GG to Yal and Jim for beating the for being the victors in the first on Restream SSR co-op race. And yeah, Raid and Pac-Man should not be terribly far behind. They just have to beat Galactus in the end game, so they're probably less than 10 minutes away from finishing at this point. So he should be getting Yal and Jim in for an interview, so yeah.
And they are here.
Yeah, so GG, Jim and Yal.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. GG's.
Oh, that's
So
always fun.
yeah, I guess there were a couple of unfortunate errors, but you still managed to pull it out despite them.
Yeah. Although it looks like even if Jim hadn't soft blocked, Kitcut still would have finished ahead of him, which is interesting.
Yeah. It was a very interesting result.
I wonder what they did. It's a shame that Harm was it would have been crazy if Harm finished and they won.
Yeah, that'd be. I wonder if Harm is stuck on endgame or something.
Yeah, I think what they might have done was gotten all this is because you got Colin's letter from Pirates, and if someone had just taken that Colin's letter right back to Skyloft, you would have gotten Whip a lot sooner.
So Raid having some problems with Galactus Phase 2 here, and I'm not really sure what happened.
Not to mention the finding water scale could have been optimized. I think I was saying this as I was doing it. I think me going to LMF was not the best play because I didn't have bomb bag.
I mean, it was a valid play.
It ended up not mattering because there was neither sword nor scale there. But
yeah, I don't think it was a bad play, but it just wound up not working out in this particular seed. Yeah, and then there was also in Sandship, Jim, did you wind up accidentally doing bit on a death warp or something?
yeah.
Yeah, I meant to just death warp after getting the boss key, but then I just muscle memoried back in time.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, but luckily it didn't. Yeah, I'll continue.
And then I death warped too early and had to go back. Oh boy. Looks like
Yeah.
these other two are pretty close to finishing.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They're also remarkably close together.
Yeah, they really gave you guys a run for your money the whole seed, really. I mean, obviously Jim's soft lock put them even closer to you, but like, if they hadn't like missed scale, like I think they both just went into LMF assuming that was where they needed to be. If they hadn't done that and found scale sooner and realized they were in go mode, they would have been a heck of a lot closer. So, just takes one logical misstep.
Yeah, and I think the other thing was like you found Colin's letter, or I think you found Whip before they did, and that like set you really far ahead. At that
The thing
point.
is that it really didn't make that much of a difference in the end because of the letter situation. Well, the letter situation was the Whip, but like they kept it close despite that problem. So
It was interesting that the paths that we took made it so that I was like always consistently pretty far behind. At least like after like the first hour or so. I had to go retrace the steps and sand ship and all that.
yeah.
But it was fine. It's unfortunate that you didn't have there was like a hard like no mast skip unless you did dungeon at exit.
Yeah, we actually talked about that. 64 forgot that you didn't have bomb bagging, therefore couldn't do it. So
I forgot to until after I saved.
yeah, but unfortunately, one of the issues with with a seed like this in co-op is that it sort of like diverges and then converges and then diverges and converges, and whoever ends up doing more of the more useless stuff ends up behind in a co-op situation like this. But you know, that's just name of the game.
But I mean,
in
like,
co-op.
you'd rather that happen than you both get like bottlenecked at the same point.
Yeah, that's just bound to happen in these types of seeds. This was not a great showcase for co-op. There were a lot of things that this seed did really nice for co-op, but there was a lot of conversion points that really just made it a mess.
Our Spirit of the Sword hints like stack their duplicates based off of like item count, right?
Okay, so you guys are done now. The reason that the duplicates ended up the way that they are is actually the result of a bug. They are all correct SOTS hints. They are just not shuffled correctly.
So, is it intended that we're supposed to have more than one of them?
Yes, it is intended that you can get the same region more than once.
And is that intentionally weighted by item count, or is that just like,
no? It is
chance?
unweighted. That was just chance.
Although,
well,
a suggestion
theory,
I would have.
The more SOTS items, the more likely a region is to be hinted once anyway. Because
I mean,
it puts them into the list like once for each hint, each item.
I would suggest adding like a slight weighting for count of items because I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was intentional on that. That's why I went to like.
It's sort of exists already, but yeah. And there's an inherent weighting because the more SOTS items a region has, the more times it's going to be put in the list. So the more likely it is to be picked.
But to be picked like twice, or just to be picked at all?
It gets pulled out of the list every time it's picked, so it becomes less likely that it gets picked again. But also more likely because you're removing. Yeah. Basically, the way SOTS hints are generated is it compiles a list of all the SOTS hint locations and items that are valid for the seed, which has some settings, stuff like keys and stuff, and then is supposed to shuffle the list, which it doesn't, and then pops the locations off one by one. So every SOTS location has an equal chance of being hinted at any point.
Okay, and I assume that the difference was in the old hint system, it not only popped the location, but also the region entirely?
I don't actually know what the deal with the old hint system was. It was theoretically supposed to be able to hint twice, but I think it was just bugged. Bugged, quote unquote.
So Raid resetting after failing Horde Skip.
I was gonna say, yeah, he just sat there and died.
I don't know why you would do that though. I don't really think that that's a super smart play.
Especially when you two are like so close to each other. Like, you missing horde skip probably doesn't matter.
Yeah. I guess it's, do they feel that harm is gonna snipe them at this point?
Well, now it's probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the justification is Raid just doesn't feel comfortable with Phase 3 of Horde, but it's not
With Master
that...
Sword. With Master Sword, that's understandable.
Yeah, but
we
with
have
TMS...
Oh wait,
yeah.
he didn't get the last sword. How did he not get the last sword? Did he not get the sword on Isle of Solid?
I was like, I was having Jim like check some stuff in Farron to see if there would be a sword then, but then by the time like after he was going to Fet's Hop, I was already leaving whenever, so it was like,
yeah.
And then it was on Ballad of the Goddess, which I thought we already checked, but we didn't. Nice yeet from Pac-Man.
And, Raid failing it again. Unfortunate. And Raid's again going to just die and keep going until he gets...
Like this from Yao. This is not... not from Yao, from Raid. Sorry, Yao.
Wow.
We talked about you a bunch during the seed. That's why. Brain memory to say Yao.
Yeah, fair enough.
So how did you two feel about your performance, other than, the obvious issue with Cistern?
Alright.
Yeah, I felt like it was mostly okay. I just need to actually memorize which cubes link to which goddess chests.
I was gonna say, fun fact, at least according to the guide that Jim looked up, the goddess cube, what was it? What was that? Oh yeah, the secret passageway one is known as goddess cube number 17 to that guy.
Ah, helpful.
Yes.
Which I want to say that would be, if we numbered them by letter, that would be Q. Because there's 26 cubes, because one of them isn't in rando. You could theoretically assign a letter to all of them.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, usually, like, people just use the location of the cube or the chest to describe it, because that also tells you where you need to go, so it helps with pathing. But
I can see the value in that, because like a lot of times it's really hard, or like a lot of them are like very verbose descriptions.
Yeah, because some of them are deliberately verbose, like in the tracker, simply because there is no shorter way to describe their location accurately.
I'm glad that we got to see a junk hint. At least I got
Yeah,
to.
we did get to see one. Oh yeah, Boko Pushing too. Someone in chat mentioned Boko Pushing.
Oh yeah, I did try to go for that, but unfortunately I didn't quite get it.
Yeah. That was cool. I was not actually expecting to see Boko Pushing today. Did you choose to go after the Boko Pushing because you knew claw shots were your next logical step, or was it just a matter of convenience?
I can't remember if at that time we were narrowed down to the 10 loose crystals or not.
Yeah, I think it was just convenience, because I had to go to Farron Woods to get the bow.
Yeah. We,
That makes sense.
obviously in the comm booth, we have, the benefit of seeing 4 runners instead of just, your, like, 2 people's perspectives. And we had figured it out that it was or we had suspected that it was loose crystals. So it would have been, we thought it would have been like a really neat play that you had ruled that out or ruled to that. And we're taking advantage of the pathing that you had going on there.
I had begun to suspect loose crystals like right after getting the sealed grounds Fear of the Sword and getting the crystal pack, but I'd like that. Obviously, that's never going to be the first thing on your mind, though.
Oh yeah, when we saw that hint, we were like, is it going to be that crystal pack, or is it going to be something on Battle of the Goddess?
Yeah.
As it turns out, they were both good items.
Yeah, just only one of them was actually like hard required.
So.
Yeah, so Pac-Man's at Demise. Raid hopefully is going to work out the issue he's having with Horde Skip.
Try to watch and see what he's doing. He's moving too far to the left, I think.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
He's like aligned with the second column here. That should be
Okay.
there we go.
I feel like after okay. I was gonna say after some point you may as well stop death warping and just go normally.
I mean, I think time-wise, it's really hard to justify. Even with Master Sword, it's hard to justify, like, death warping after failing Horde skip. I mean, we saw Jim successfully retry Horde skip and
Yeah,
get it that way.
that was fun to watch.
But, like, yeah, I mean, usually if I fail Horde Skip, I kind of just resign myself to I'm just going to do Phase 3, and even without TMS, like, it's slow, but you can just, like, Skyward Strike the Blue Boko over and over again, and he eventually dies.
Raid casually doing damageless Horde up to this point.
By the way, I'm not sure if you could tell just by looking, but I did my demise blindfolded.
We actually speculated about that.
Because you can see it, especially where, like, in the second phase after you knock him over and get lightning, I, like, hold forward a bunch, so I don't want to miss.
Yeah.
And then I also screwed up part of it.
I guess Pack is having issues with Phase 2 here. Speaking of Phase 2, he did not carry the stun lock over, it looks like. Also, I think Raid did successfully do a fully damageless Horde.
Very nice.
To see it now.
Yeah,
fully
have a
damageless.
heart metal. I was gonna say I initially skipped the heart metal, but then I realized that probably was not a good idea. Oh,
Where was the heart metal? I just remember being somewhere convenient.
On Alan's shield.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you just get it because it's convenient. Poor Pac-Man dying again. Demise. Not that it really matters right now.
unless he does it like a few more times. Actually, probably only one more, depending on how late into the fight.
Yeah. It'll be unfortunate because, I mean, he's had races decided by Demise before. Like, that wound up deciding a race between him and me where both of us struggled with the end game, but he struggled more with Demise, and I just wasted a lot of time in Horde. But ultimately, I won out in that race because he struggled a bit too much with Demise. But looks like he has a clean Phase 1, so hopefully he can get a clean Phase 2 here.
I went back to a couple of times to see what the junk hint was again, and then I slashed a patch of grass. I got 3 hearts and 7 rupees from it. Very nice.
I saw the junk hint when you got it, but I didn't have time to read it. And
it says,
someone in
to be fair,
chat caught it,
it's also a little bit like with the Rootboard text. Whenever you
they're
get
hard
Rootboards,
to read.
with the Rootboard text, you get it on like a lighter text box. It's an item get, so it's easier to see on there. But it says they say that there's a settings combination which needs 0 checks to be completed.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man dying again. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if there's like a light gray or something or a lighter gray, that might wind up working out better.
You
but
could
I'm
use either the silver rupee text or whatever color we set the sky key whenever we get that for key sanity. Which I think is also the silver rupee color, but I'm not sure. Only problem is silver rupee color is so light that you might assume it's important.
Yeah, well, I think, like, after scene 1 or 2, you'll realize, like, when the entire text box is colored that way.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, the coloring on the text boxes is going to be fixed soon, TM, right, CJ?
What was going to be fixed? What coloring? Oh, the item, the location hints.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I noticed that one of my random hints had no coloring. Thought that was weird.
Random hints should have coloring, because they should have item colors, but that's it.
Well, yeah, they have item colors, but not location.
Yeah, none of the location hints have coloring, because I forgot to put them back in.
I forgot.
Looks like both Raid and Pac-Man are struggling a bit with Demise. To be fair, I think Raid has may just be a bit rusty because
Raid hasn't raced in a while.
Plus
As far as I
stealthing.
Oh, you're running on
true.
Dolphin.
Might be causing an issue. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, you cannot backflip through those without like stupidly precise timing.
Oh, he must have
no, he just
untargeted.
missed.
Oh no.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's super unfortunate.
Wonder how long this can go on before Harm snipes.
It's a really good question, to be honest. So yeah, Pac and Raid are gonna probably realize that if they want to raise in the tournament, they're gonna need to practice their end game. So Pac and Raid are in the post-race channel in the Discord, and I don't know why they didn't just use one of the other race channels.
It's Team Zero.
That's he's got a point.
We don't do one index.
I think I was trying to tell them, like, when they were saying about we might need more voice channels, I'm like, for this, you can just, like, you don't have to use a channel in this Discord, and I think, so I think he just was like, okay, I'm just gonna,
Someone goes into the bingo channel. Someone, like, puts them in one of the winter tournament Actually, there's only one winter tourney voice channel. I don't think anyone can see it except, like,
yeah, I can't see.
Very select few people. Alright, so GG's to Raid, who has finally stabbed Demise.
There we go.
With some lightning. Ooh, and Pat getting that precise backflip timing. Alright, come on, Pac. Playing some dangerous. Nice. They're very nice. He got double tapped.
Extreme sports. Uh-oh.
That was a really long side hop. What? Huh? How did that hit him?
What happened? Did like his nunchuck disconnect?
I think he might have had a nunchuck issue there. He was having nunchuck issues earlier.
Yeah, he's been having nunchuck issues the whole time.
I mean, I don't know about the whole time. It was like the first hour he's nunchuck disconnected a bunch, and then, okay, yeah, I think now it's resolved. He must have, like, unplugged and replugged it during the cutscene. Although I feel like we would have seen it come up, but regardless, it's fixed now. But yeah, he like the first hour, and yeah, and I guess it hasn't popped up in the restream chat, but I guess I'll just say Harm finished in 5th place with a time of 3:02:02. So GG to K-Caught and Harm.
Yeah.
They managed to snipe back in. There it is in the...
So GG's. So we might see Harm and K-Caught join us in the restream. I would like to know what their pathing was. Just like, as a quick question for them.
Yeah. If I had to guess, one of them like took Colin's letter back to Skyloft immediately.
Excited for this interview for sure. It's interesting how KitKat got so far ahead.
Yeah, that's really what I want to know.
Especially if Harm was that far behind, because he must have been doing a lot of the progression himself.
And Pac-Man finished, yeah, with a time of 3:02:50. So GG to Pac-Man and Raid.
GG's racers.
GG's, guys.
Well done.
Yeah.
I believe that I forgot the setup for Demise. I'm done. But
Yeah, a little bit of
You know what he said to me right before I entered Horde? You got this. You don't fail Horde Skip. You can do it.
No, that's so unfortunate. All right, now we have everyone who has raced today. GG's to all of our racers. 3:02:50, not bad for a first seed for a lot of you for co-op, and also a really bad seed, all things considered. 10 loose crystals and stuff.
It was so okay.
Who rolled this seed again? CJ?
It was me. It was me.
Mm.
Chat, you could give him the pitchforks and torches.
Okay, so I will just say, I think one advantage. I don't know. I can't speak to for everyone because I don't know what you guys did, but I know that me and Harm almost immediately found out that crystals were the spirit of the sword in sealed grounds. Like, looking at like the hints for where claw shots were and just like other stuff, we kind of just knew that we'd have to pick up 10 crystals eventually. So we didn't rush that, but we did weave that into our routing quite nicely. So I think that's one good part about our routing.
We had that.
Yeah, we talked about that in the interview a little earlier, that like whether or not people had the rate people figured that out was kind of impactful.
I mean, the fact that there was still a chance that Ballad of the Goddess had the Way of the Hero.
That's what
didn't
prevented
Yeah,
us.
that's the real wild card on a sealed grounds hint.
I didn't want to do it either. No one wants
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
No
well,
one wants to do loose crystals.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there was that chance, but looking at how the hints were and looking how the seed was forming, it just logically made sense and was just way more likely that it was loose crystals required. So, yeah, and I think
to
that's...
mention-
I forgot about Colin's letter for a little while, so...
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sometimes after we've all been playing random, or a lot of us have been playing Randomizer for quite a long time now, and you just get a gut feeling sometimes about where things are and what things are pointing to, and sometimes you just have to go with that gut feeling. So,
Right, yeah.
I assume that's what happened with you, Kit. You and Harm.
Not to mention,
Yeah,
because it was co-op, and I had done Slingshot, I felt compelled to check Alwyn first before.
I mean, that was a reasonable play. Like, we talked about, like, if you guys want to watch this back, like, there's a lot of, I think, at least interesting commentary and a lot of interesting diversion in the way you guys handled routing. Like, even just, like, from the very beginning of Skyward 1, there was diversion in the way you guys did, it did split up checks for co-op, which was really interesting to see.
That's
So,
good.
definitely worth watching back, if you guys want to see some, like, alternate strategies, listen to the commentary, that kind of stuff.
Literal treasure room, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, literal treasure room.
Yeah. That was funny, yeah. That was great.
The clip
also,
on my
like,
stream, I'm gonna have to go get it.
I was 100% wrong on every prediction I made on the seed the entire race, so
Nice.
I didn't get a single thing right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a while we were thinking it was going to be like Din's power was going to have like the item, and then it wound up being junk, and we were like, okay, yeah, that sword was not the Spirit of the Sword item on Sandship.
And Ship had 2 swords
Yeah.
and 2 Spirit of the Sword items.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go get that clip right now, actually. That looked really funny on my stream.
Well, oh wait, yeah, the bomb blocked skill.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting, but yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you how I finished quite quickly.
Well, you
I
also
think
have
it's-
to understand. I don't know if you've heard already or if you inferred from our comments, but I was supposed to be the second person on our team to finish, but then Jim soft blocked an inconsistent without saving. We went all the way back to LMF.
Oh,
I mean, in a way, it
That
was
explains a good bit.
yeah, it was really lucky that Jim did do the bit warp there, or he would have been
Yeah,
sent back
because
further.
Jim started to not do the bit warp, and then I guess realized
Yeah.
the facts
That-
around.
that
That would
would've
have been
been bad.
real bad.
Go all the way back to Sandship.
Yeesh.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That makes a little more sense. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. I think.
So,
I think. Sorry.
Okay, did you or Harm dip out of Dancy and deliver Colin's letter immediately after getting it in Pirates or something?
I think our Sand Sea routing was very much like, okay, you do Stronghold, I'll do Sandship, and we very much kind of split Linnea up into okay, you do this, I do Y, and I think that was our routing throughout the entire thing. I think as soon as we got the Amber Tablet, for example, I just left Harm to go on a goose chase in Linnea whilst I cleaned up everything else. And then, as for Colin's letter, I don't think we did it immediately, but the scene was so closed at that point because I'd cleared up so much that it was essentially the only option we had. Because I'd done Sparrowed, I'd done Farron, I'd done essentially anything. Because again, we kind of split up at that point.
Yeah, like
at
some point in Linear
Pirates and didn't get Colin's letter. I just did the Bellows stuff and then left. I'm just reading
At
notes now realizing that.
At some point in Linear, you kind of had to retrace each other's footsteps.
Yeah,
there's so much going on.
There was a lot of that as well, but for the most part, we kind of just like...
Did anyone actually get Ballad of the Goddess? And
did.
if so, where was it?
I did. It was
Batman got
the
it.
chest inside of Volcanic Island, I think.
It was one of the Great Tree chests. No, Great Tree cubes. That one. That's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. We were trying to figure it out because, like, none of us saw anyone get it on comms, and then people suddenly had it marked, and we were like, what? Okay, cool. That
We already did early Thunderhead anyway.
Yeah, you guys were in Sandsea, and we're like, oh, Sandsea might have Ballad, so that you do Sandsea, dip out to Ballad, get Sea Chart, and come back. And no, you already had it at that point.
Yeah.
It's a shame that, like,
fun race.
Yeah.
Still ended with 65 crystals, and none of those could have been in Thunderhead, saving us from the... Whatever.
What's interesting is that Harm could have finished way earlier, because, okay, here's the mistakes he made, right? In LMF, right, because the boss key was so early, he just forgot to pick it up and just went to the boss door and couldn't open Moldy. And so, that was a painful one.
The
He
door
also
is still
failed-
shut, it will not open.
Yeah. He also failed System Clip. Yeah. Like, he soft locked twice. Yeah. Yeah, he also, But you did say, but yeah, he soft locked like twice and he spent a while. And he also like died at Horde, so Harm could have finished way earlier.
So what you're saying is, we all made mistakes today.
Yeah.
Except y'all.
Well,
The biggest mistake was letting me roll the seat.
Yeah.
One mistake that I made was in Sandship, I death rolled right after getting the harp instead of getting the boss key, so I had to go back.
Oh
You
yeah,
forgot to turn on the second generator.
Oh yeah.
Dang. I wonder if anyone got Bellows at the end of Stronghold and instinctively death warped and didn't realize that they could have done the other cube. Did anyone do that?
I opened
Was
the
that cube not hinted? That
almost-
cube should have been hinted. I don't remember seeing the hint though.
No, there wasn't a hint for that cube.
It's probably on, like, what's it called? Volcano
Summit.
Hintstone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, summit hints. That might also be where
Earrings
Aaron Trial hint was.
Where were earrings?
Earrings were in
Lake Floria.
Lake Floria.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They all locked in Lake Floria. So go.
Who would have got the earrings? You were
Oh,
going.
I had Jim look to see if there was, like, another sword, because I was still, like, a few minutes behind him, but...
Yeah.
It just so happened to be the one check that he actually ended up doing.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no,
I did almost die. I almost died, like, trying to open up the shark head, because... I don't remember what I got hit by. I think of a colon.
Yeah. Yeah, enough. Fun race. Definitely makes me more excited for the tournament. And honestly, I really want to watch this back now, because I'm very interested to see what you guys did. Sounds like...
Yeah,
it had to be
definitely
fun times.
worth a watch back.
Another near-death experience, I think. I was diving to get the chest on, like, in Beetle's cage, but I think I dove from far enough that I would have died of fall damage. But I pulled out the sailcloth and somehow grabbed on the ledge. A good, like, sailcloth.
I died doing that. I was on less than 4 hearts. And I went, oh no.
I had to die to heal when doing Cistern Clip because I took 2 hearts of drowning damage because after failing it once.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
At least I'm not the only one who feels like they did not play great this race. It's
It's not everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
Co-op's actually a lot of fun. It's mostly just talking with someone the whole scene. That's fun.
Yeah,
The skill with co-op is more about communication than anything, because it's so easy to, like, like, because one thing, like, say, like, one dude checks the entirety of Lineru and they just, like, don't communicate it, or someone, or it gets lost in like, the middle, and then you also end up checking the rest of Lineru, like, stuff like that can be, like, just communication like that is, like, quite important, in general.
I
Yeah.
think me and Raid only really checked dungeon locations at the same time, but he was ahead of me, while I was ahead of
We
him.
did a great job. I mentioned it during the race to you, but we did a great job not overlapping our locations, but we didn't do a great job of checking things very fast, like a lot of leaving and re-entering regions to avoid not overlapping, so...
Meanwhile, me and Harm overlapped, like, 3 times.
It was interesting that you two were like synced in Cistern.
Oh yeah.
Why did that happen again?
You
I swear
failed
something.
with the cycle.
Yeah. So what
Okay.
happened with Scale? Because I think I noticed like you were like in LMF and like I didn't think you had Scale at that point, and then like I think I was watching stuff on Jim's side, and then suddenly you both had Scale.
Scale was our only go mode item, and then I went into LMF to full clear that, and then while I was doing LMF, he came in behind me and just go moded the whole dungeon, like sprinted through it.
Yeah.
And then
we were going to split up the remaining bomb checks that opened up, and the first one I checked had Scale, so I left on, walked into Lightning Node, and then screamed Scale, and then we both went to Cistern.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate that you just happened to sequence it in the way that you did, because you wound up missing out on Scale for a while. But
that's Rando. Can't do much about it.
It is Rando.
Yeah, no, fun. Nice. Enjoyed.
Right, well, unless anyone has anything they want to share real quick before we wrap things up.
I do not like duplicate Way of the Hero hints.
You don't.
Oh, that was
It
great.
means there are 2 items.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wait, it does?
Yes.
Oh, wait, you didn't know that, Raid? Oh no.
Fuck!
Well, the funny thing is that specific situation, at least CJ thinks it is because of a bug.
No, the duplicate hinting is not itself a bug. The fact that you got the duplicates you got is a bug.
Okay.
Because the list was not shuffled. So it was just popping off the bottom of the list backwards.
Oh, I see.
So the later in, like...
So
the
that's
list
why
of
we didn't get
locations-
things like Academy Suts or whatever.
Yeah, that is why. Which was nice, I bet, but... Yeah.
I think it would be nice if you could like somehow negatively weight things by sphere. Like
that means the other beetle must have been in desert then, because there were 2 hints for that.
The other beetle was High Node first chest.
Okay, so yeah, the other.
The Scale was Lightning Node first chest.
yeah, that was unfortunate because like Jim found it, but he didn't push down the shortcut box, so he had to hit the time shift stone again and go all the way back to the back and hit the time shift stone again.
Hey, Pac-Man, how did neither of us realize that desert was Way of the Hero and we just hadn't checked that yet?
Twice, actually.
Oh, I did. No, we did, but we put it off for LMF reasons. We wanted to check other checks while you finished it off after doing LMF. That was the plan.
Alright, well, I know how the hints... The new hints are cool. I like them. I didn't understand them. Okay, that's all I had.
Well, GG's everyone. I'm gonna hand it back over to our restreamer here to take us out.
Yeah, thanks everyone. So yeah, thanks to our runners today. So that was a showcase of the co-op races for Skyward Sword Randomizer. There is a tournament starting soon, right?
Yes, the tournament starts in something like 2 weeks, ish.
Yeah, aren't we like moving the start time?
Yeah, we're adjusting the timeline still. We haven't fully decided on the adjusted timeline.
Yeah. So thanks to our commentators, CJ and 64-bit Link, and thanks to our tracker Deer. that helped me a lot in this seed. Yeah. And yeah, thanks to all of our runners for this one. That was very cool to watch. So I guess that's it. I don't think there is any other race tonight on Zelda speedruns. But tomorrow there is the Ocarina of Time EU weekly race at 1 p.m. UTC. So definitely watch that if you have time. So yeah, thanks everyone, and see you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.